Good evening.
Good evening, Nick.
How you doing?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
Ah, doing good. Getting there. It's been a really busy day for me.
Same here.
Yeah.
Uh, Tonight we were supposed to have two guests, and Kendall and Vera Welton. They are the producers of The House in Between, Sleepless Unrest, and then next week they have another documentary coming out called The Haunted Lodge. But last minute they had something come up. They had to back out tonight, and we are looking at having them back on. I think in 3 weeks, because he asked specifically about coming on November 2nd.
Okay, so who are these Facebook users we got here?
Let's check them out. Bear with me here, still getting some stuff. Okay, why are we not loading here? Here we go. Um, One of them is Thomas Crowley. Oh, here's Adrian.
Oh,
Hello,
what's up,
Adrian.
Adrian?
Hello.
What's going
Okay,
on,
the
Sean?
first Facebook user is Thomas Crowley. Welcome, Thomas.
That's a new name. And then this other Facebook user.
Um, Getting there. I'm having to go to the Things of Colorado page now.
That's right. Yeah, we still got to get used to that new page.
Yeah, and that is Joe. Hello,
Oh, it's Joe.
Yep.
You guys want to talk about?
Well, actually, we have a few on here. Listen, you. You're lucky I love you.
And you guys always complain that I'm always late.
No, I did get a call at 5:59, so yeah. So with everything going on, overseas and everything else, is anybody else? I've seen it before it even started, all over Facebook, talking about everybody having this feeling of dread and this, just all kinds of. They described it different ways, but it seems like the impasse really caught on before it even happened. But I didn't. But I mean, obviously, it's very traumatizing to listen to the stories and to listen to, we listened to a story last night, and I had turned off because it was a father who was somewhere, and bullshit, you know better. He had
What's up, Brad?
Joe.
no,
guys.
This is
help us
Joe.
all.
I think it's Joe, yeah.
Oh man, good luck for that
Oh
one.
goodness, that's scary. Very hard to watch the news and hearing the story. Yeah, well, I only heard the one. I can't do those dog commercials where those SPCA. I can't.
ASPCA, yeah,
I have
know
to turn
those
them off.
commercials.
I cannot do those.
They're hard to watch.
Yeah, and I know they're mostly BS, but I can't do it. There is no, she's not.
She's taking the night off, basically.
Yeah.
This guy was. I mean, can you imagine being at work somewhere else, not in that town, and you find out the town was bombed, and your daughter's missing?
Is this?
He came back, and what he said, it makes sense if you really think about it, but at first it's like, what? He said, I am very thankful that she passed away, because I know she's not out there being raped or hurt. because they're taking children, and that's what they're doing to them.
I'm going to assume this is what's going on in Israel right now. Yeah, my dad, he has been watching that so much on CNN.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it gets to a point where it's too overwhelming. In fact, I'll even just say this quick, because this actually, it kind of traumatized me. And this didn't even happen from work. I'm just going from home. This happened at work.
Mm-hmm.
I was on break, and in the cafe area of our store, we got a couple flat screen TVs. And, like typical places, one is showing different channels.
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy, one of the employees came up to me and asked, hey, can you move because I was the tallest guy there. So they asked me if I could move the screen, because it was one of those ones that you could move from side to side. And I said, yeah, no big deal. So I go up and I turn the screen. And when I looked at the screen as I'm turning it, it was obviously on CNN. And right there on the banner, black and white, it said like women, children, elderly, brutally murdered. And that's just like, it. I'm not going to lie. It actually made me jump from the screen. Scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, and it should. It's
Hey,
we're desensitized here in America simply because of the movies we watch, the books we're allowed to see. Other countries, they don't get to see a lot of that.
Don't.
We had, I've mentioned it several times now. I can't think of it. There was a website at one point that was rotten.com. That's what it was.
Rotten.com, yeah.
And you were able to see pictures of dead people. You were able to see mutilations and things like that. And that's become a norm where it's on TV. It's, and pretty realistic. So we've come to be desensitized. But when you think about it and think about, okay, this could have been my parents, my child, my, whatever, then, it comes a little closer to home. But here recently, like in the last day, I don't know what's going on. It's just all of a sudden, it's like, okay, it's for some reason, everything's just peaceful. Not overseas, obviously, but like internally, it's like, okay, done. I don't know why. I don't know what that means.
I basically, and as you guys know, I know it's unrelated, but I'm going to cut to the chase real quick. With my international connections that I got, believe it or not, Jeremy, you remember I told you this several months ago, I actually did make my very first connection in Israel. And so when I heard about
city, is it just one city in Israel that's being bombed, or is it a whole bunch of them?
It's the majority of the country, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard about this
situation of what's going on there, all I know is one day out of the blue, I start seeing these posts saying, I stand with Israel, and people changing their profiles. And I'm thinking, okay, what is going on? And then I find out that basically what had happened to Ukraine a couple of years ago is now happening to Israel.
Well, in the war there, believe it or not, that's been going way longer, believe it or not, more than people think. I mean, just not like military wise, but now this has been a war that's been going on for probably 1,000 years, really, between Israel and Palestine. It's just that they didn't really launch these attacks up until recently. So this war between Israel and Palestine have been going on, obviously, way longer than what's happening between Ukraine and Russia. So, but with my connection that I had in Israel, after first starting to hear this stuff, as you guys can imagine, I had some very, very personal concerns over what was happening there. So I was going to go on, I was going to try to reach out to the guy, only for me to discover that he got rid of his Facebook. So I have no way of contacting him, and I do not know what his status is. I don't know if he's dead or alive.
He may have done that so that he can't be tracked. I mean, think about it. If it was us and people are, in a war, there's nothing off limits. So maybe he had a job that would cause him to need to disappear.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I just hope that he's okay. I mean, I've really only spoken to him once, but I remember at the time that I had a really good conversation with him, but I just really hope that he's okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Brad, What are you talking about here? This
Protests.
protest that's down in India, is this over the whole Israel thing?
Tonight. Oh,
If that's the case, I'm surprised Chicago hasn't had any. I mean, I'm surprised we haven't heard that all over the country, or if not other countries having their own
he
protests.
said
of
yes.
this. Yeah.
Well, we have sent some of our people over, and we're not in the war yet, but they have said that if any of the other countries that we are allied with decide to join, we're in.
Because we are part of NATO, and that was actually and that's the same thing too. Obviously, with what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. I mean, I thought at one point we heard a message, obviously, from our American military, thinking, you know what, Ukraine is probably going to need help. Other countries are probably going to assist. So, they're saying we're not going to enter just yet, but we better be prepared, to enter it if we have to.
Oh,
Oh, hey,
I found out
Chris.
something really cool.
Hey, Chris.
I
Been
found
a
out something
while.
really cool just now. So let's change the subject to something better.
Yeah.
My daughter lives in Lake, Kansas, which is about 5 hours from here. She's about to give birth, so we're going to go up there at Thanksgiving. She sent me a picture and goes, "Mom, do you know about Red Rock School?" And I said, "Well, I've heard it in the field, but I don't know, what it is." And she said, "Well," and there's this poster where it says Haunted Halloween Experience. Red Rock School is the top haunted place in Kansas and in top 100 in the United States, which they all claim that. There can't be that many hundreds. But it's one of those Halloween things, says enter if you dare. And I said, "Well, I'll find out if they do private investigations." And she comes back with, "Well, I know the owner. She owns a place called Reese's that sells a ton of stuff, and she used to come to the Dollar Tree and pick stuff up when I worked there. So I know where we're going."
Yeah. Sounds really
And
cool.
who is growling in the background?
The big white dummy is playing
I
with
knew
the
that
big black
already.
and white dummy.
Ghost.
Ghost.
My
You gotta
good
love
girl
Ghost.
is back here being such a sweetheart. Oh, Rose, where'd you go? She does not leave my side. Rose, come here. Come on.
I was getting ready to say maybe that's why she was such a sweetheart right now, because she wasn't even there.
Somebody gets jealous real quick.
Very. Hi.
I like how his eyes are reflecting off the light. They're like glowing eyes.
Okay. I do see you. I see you. You know not to look me in the face.
That's,
You
that's
have to be
female.
snatched.
That's female.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting.
Don't lick.
Those
I'm gonna
evil.
grab that tongue.
I just changed colors.
Yeah, I thought I
yeah.
saw the eyes change colors for a second. They were like green and blue.
They're probably green because I grabbed her tongue.
It
Licking
went
me.
from white, yellowish, white to blue. Anthony, I am.
The dog is possessed. Let's just face it.
She
The dog's
is.
possessed.
She is.
Oh my God, Brad. I thought it was Adrian growling.
Only
Brad,
if I'm right behind you and fixing
Guarantee
to
it's
get you.
growling at you.
Apparently Joe has heard about that school.
Really? Well, that's right. Never mind. Okay, yeah, I should have expected that.
So it's interesting, Adrian, that you got something for Halloween, because I received something as well from Rosie. Actually,
Speaking of which, actually, I just forgot to put something up. Hang on. Speaking of which,
she sent me something called the Franklinstein Horror Fest.
oh,
Yeah, it's in Michigan City.
really?
Yeah. It's tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little late now.
WWF fan, have you lost your ever
There
loving
we go.
mind?
There we go. Now I got what I needed.
I'm a big WWF fan. What are you talking about, Adrian?
That's why I said that. I am absolutely not. My son wrestles in Japan, and I look at it and go, huh?
Oh, that's right. hang on one second. Yeah, there's the Milwaukee Paracon that's happening this Saturday. Or this entire no, it starts
Milwaukee?
tomorrow. Yeah, up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They're having a Paracon. I don't know if I'll be able to make it to that one as I was hoping so, even though I'm just an hour away. But I'm still trying to figure out. Well, I can't tomorrow, obviously, because I got 13th Dimension with Jeremy. So we know for a fact that Friday's out of the question, so I can't go. But we'll see how the rest of my weekend is, if I'm able to make it or not. I'm hoping. I'd like to. Hey, Nicole's here.
Cole?
Yeah, good to see you.
Hey, sweetheart.
Did you get a date yet? Nick?
No, you know what? I don't forget the last couple days after I went to the Midwest Spirit Fest. I basically have a whole list of like guests now, potential guests for the show. So I have not been able to even write down the dates yet, but I definitely would like to get.
With all the damn pumpkins hitting you in the head, you ain't gonna remember shit.
What's up, Carl? Good to see you.
Hey,
Girl.
Okay, so Joe's only going to be there for Saturday. If I don't have anything going on, if Tom's around, we might, depending on his schedule, maybe we'll be able to head up there. I just don't know. And no, Brad, I'm not ditching you guys at Perry Unity. I really want to go. I just don't have the means of getting over there. If I had another way to get out there, I would definitely be on the road immediately.
it's going to
We
be.
can't all be on the road 24/7, guys. We
I know
can't.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know if I'll even be able to make it to the Milwaukee one. I'd love to. I just don't know.
Nicole, if I'd have known you were going to be here, you could have been on tonight.
Ah, damn. Yeah.
Real quick, since Carl's here, I want to put this out that Carl is the newest addition to Things with Things in Missouri. Yay!
Yay.
That's actually, those things are kind of really cool because it's not just anybody can do that. We are picky about who does what. It's not just, oh yeah, sure, you're in that state, you can have it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to protect the brand, so I got to make sure I'm the best of people.
Well, and honestly, when you think about it too, considering that now that we have Missouri and the fact that we also got the UK and also Netherlands, I honestly really didn't think we were going to go that fast. I honestly thought that after we made my chapter for Illinois, I'm thinking it's probably going to be about a year or so before we ever see another chapter. But boy, was I proven wrong.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was going to be at least a year before we picked up another one. And damn it, we got 3 more.
Yeah, that's 5 total for us. No, wait, 6. Wait, 6. Yeah.
Well,
Yep,
6.
Thank you, Carl.
Include us.
Yeah, includes us. Yeah, you guys. So we're growing like crazy. And Brad, don't even start.
Illinois.
That's to keep your peeps okay.
Yeah, sometimes they get away from us, I guarantee it.
We are going to remake that song. Come on and fill Illinois.
Oh God. Well, at least I finally have found something that annoys Eileen when I talk about Todd, and she doesn't like when I'm referring him to as the Todd. So now I got something I can finally get back at her with.
I was hoping she would be able to get him on. And then I did talk to Don, and right now he's doing a karate class, and he told me that they would be ending anytime between now and 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock his time.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I don't know if we're going to be on the full time tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have a guest. We don't have Eileen. And I can't see the 3 of us going the full 2 hours, but I don't think any of us want to. Brad will want us to, but that's
well, I think you would want us to go for more than 2 hours, which that's definitely not going to happen.
not going to happen. because one of the reasons why I don't want to go on for so long is that I'm trying to get myself to go into bed early so that I can get up early in the morning.
Well, and that's I'm trying to actually.
You've been working on it, Adrian, so don't lie.
Well, you know, I'm kind of. That's what I'm hoping to like for these shows to end because you guys saw the message that I wrote a few days ago in the chat, about 2 days ago or so, about my audiobooks, and I'm not happy with what.
About your audiobooks, Nick. Let's spend some time talking about that. I'm really curious into hearing about how you even got started in that in the first place.
That's definitely a good way to start it. I was actually hoping at some point that you guys would ask me those. So, where I came up with the idea of the audiobooks, it started 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now. And I think it was, as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark trilogy books. Over the years, they've made a number of books that have similar artwork or stories to the original trilogy, like they pay homage to them. And some of these books are even adult themed. But to kind of answer the question, what got me into the audiobooks was that some of these books did already have a couple audiobooks of their own, including the original trilogy. And I would often read these stories. I'm just thinking to myself, you know, these stories are great, but it just doesn't sound scary without the audiobooks, especially because not all these books have those graphic, nightmarish drawings like you see in the original trilogy. So I started thinking to myself, I wonder how good I would be if I did audiobooks myself. So what I actually did before I ever started recording was I actually contacted the companies as well as the authors about if they would allow me to record these books, because I've obviously learned in this day and age you can't even make a digital copy even with audio recording. So I had to ask them, and I wasn't asking them for money or anything like that. I was just going to do it for the hell of it. And about a day or two came back. It went by. They came back and they said, "Go right ahead." And so I started recording, and I was excited about it. But I already knew for a fact that as fun as it sounds, I already knew for a fact that it was going to be a lot of work. So I knew what I was dealing with, but I was going to try to make it. I was still going to try to make it a go anyway. And as you guys have seen, including what we did last year and what we're doing now, I've already done 9 different audiobooks.
Have you listened to any audiobooks before you started doing them?
I've listened to the audiobooks that were already made for some of these books, including the original trilogy. In fact, the very first audiobook that I ever edited, it was not actually my own. This is actually somebody I was going to talk to you guys about, maybe eventually having on our show, or could be our potential Halloween guest, is that guy Kurt Tuckfield and Shane, who wrote and illustrated the Scary Stories: A Tribute to Terror book. We had Kurt on about almost 2 years ago when I used to be on Paranormal Mysteries. And they had an audiobook already for that book, but there was no sound effects or music. So I decided to take it upon myself to add the sound, because I asked them, "Are you guys ever going to add sound effects and music to them?" And they said, "It might take a while. It's probably going to be expensive to do so." I was able to save them the trouble. I added the sound effects and music. Next thing you know, those audiobooks sound scary as hell when you listen to them. Kurt and Shane were immediately impressed with the work that I did. So that was another influence on me to eventually make my own recordings. I thought, if I'm really good at, because I'm already good with editing, if I'm able to basically add sound effects and music for an audiobook that already exists, what are the chances if I did something like that all completely on my own? And that's what inspired me to make these and finally make these audiobooks available for everybody to listen and read to.
Yeah.
I tell you what, with audiobooks, I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks lately, and I only listen to the ones that I've already read the books. Reading a book is one thing, but when you listen to them on audio, at least on some of these, it's just a completely different level.
It is. It really is. See, I'm. Oh, go ahead, Adrian. I thought looks like you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, Zach, as you know, listens to audiobooks all night long. I have had to learn to not listen.
Hey, Joanne.
Is he still listening to that Roman Empire one?
About once a week. They had one. He had one the other day, and there's certain ones. Of course, he can't listen to women because he just can't go to sleep with that sound of women. Of course, it might have something to do with me. If he doesn't hear what I said, I'm going to yell. So he wakes up when he hears a woman's voice. But no, I can't sleep to that either. I like the monotone. And there was one the other night that was like, it was talking about the Western days and talking about it. I woke up to it at one point talking about disemboweling a pregnant woman. And I was like, what in the hell is going on right now? But it was changing its voice to a woman's voice and to a man's voice and to a child's voice, and it get higher and lower. And I was like, oh, no, we're not doing it.
Was it the same person doing that or different?
Yes, it was the same person, and they did a really good job. And if I'd have been awake listening to it, it would have been wonderful. But hell no. No.
I'll tell you what. When I came to Colorado the first time this year on my way out to Reno, I was listening to it.
Oh, nice choice.
And Steven Weber. In fact, this guy right here, Steven Weber, was the one who did the audio.
Oh, yes.
Inspiration for it. Holy cow! He took me into that world. He didn't just.
How are you, sweetheart?
He brought me in to Derry. I was there with Pennywise. I was there with those 7 kids.
There are people that are amazing. And, they tell you learn things in your sleep. If you listen to audio while you're sleeping, that's bullshit. But that's only if you're not all the way asleep.
I wouldn't be able to hear it if I was awake.
You know what's funny is that Steven Weber from the TV series of The Shining, he often makes a lot of appearances now like today. Wait, what? Don't go to sleep while what? Oh, God, no. Never mind about that. I will not even read that one.
I would go. Yeah, okay.
Well, what I was going to say is, Steven,
I don't even want to think about it.
I don't want to think that either. I'm an innocent person.
What the hell did you just say? Lightning's going to strike your ass. There ain't a damn one of us innocent.
But anyways, what I was going to say was that Steven Weber, I know he appears nowadays on a lot of the episodes. I don't remember which one, but it was either Chicago Med or Chicago PD. He's on it a lot. Yeah, it's the ABC series.
He is phenomenal on that audio. I've listened to probably 10 Stephen King stories on audio now, and a lot of them are really good, but this one here with it, wow.
That had to sound great. Well, and I would say right now, if I had listened to his audiobook, that probably would have also been another influence for me to narrate. So I'm actually surprised they didn't even have them, because another inspiration, we're talking years prior, before I started doing my stuff. There is a website that I'm still a fan of, although I honestly think the way how they do their recordings are just not the same as when they first started now over 10 years ago. This is actually where I discovered Matt Grant, believe it or not, is a website that's called Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. And it's literally a website where it's nothing but full-on horror stories, urban legends, paranormal, serial killer stories. Some are true. Most of them are usually just fictional. You got creepypastas, and they've had different, people from all around the world taking. I was originally supposed to be part of it during the early days of it. Oh my God. Jeez, Scott. So, but that's where I met Matt Grant. He was originally part of Chilling Tales for Dark Nights.
And he was a good reader from that one story that he did.
one of his stories that he did when he used to be on Chilling Tales for Dark Nights, which I still have it to this day because sadly YouTube has deleted some of the original recordings. He did a story that was called Bob the Butcher, which is actually a story you may want to listen to, Jeremy, because it does kind of involve not necessarily a killer clown, but it is a clown story though.
As much writing as I've done, I am surprised I haven't included a clown in one of them yet.
I'm
But
surprised too.
nothing has been right for one yet.
Yeah, let's not.
We're going to. You can count on that. We're going to.
So, Mr. Brad, that growling you're hearing, is that fucking demon attached to you, or it's you?
Is there anything else you wanted? Is there anything else you wanted to know, Jeremy, about the audiobooks? Since you said you had a few questions about it.
Yeah, I was just really curious as to how you got into it, because I know that you're really into it, and I was just wondering, where did it all start? Did you somehow listen to one and thought, I really like this, or was it just something that came into your head?
Yeah, like I said, it was from the audiobooks that had already been made for some of these books, and also when I helped out putting the music together for the Scary Stories Tribute to Terror book. But like I said, I think I also traced part of that all the way back to when I used to listen to Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. So they just recently, in fact, that website just recently released about a year ago their very first book, which once again pays tribute to the original trilogy because they have similar illustrations in it. No audiobook has been made for that one, but that doesn't mean that maybe we could eventually do it again. You never know.
This one that you're working on now with a whole bunch of us, how many have been turned in so far?
It's so I haven't been able to really work on them just yet, but yes, a good portion of them have. Hang on 1 second because I got the list here because I always keep a list with me to make sure that I got them all in order. So bear with me for just a second. I know a whole bunch have already been turned in. Let's see, 1, 2, 3.
Speaking of turned in, I'm still waiting on videos to be turned in.
Yeah, I'm off tomorrow.
I got Zach's.
Yeah, he told me he was doing it on Monday.
10 stories have already been turned in. So I'm almost halfway through.
There's
a quarter of the way. Huh?
There's 25, right?
25 of them. 10 of them have been turned in. And you know what? With what I'm getting right now, that's fine because the stories that have been turning in are like, for example, the first 4 have already been turned in. So I can already get a head start. Oh, and speaking of which, hey, Debbie, and Debbie was supposed to send me hers yesterday, but I get it. She's busy. I know she'll get it. She'll get it to me soon.
Yes.
I'm not complaining.
I'm going to be sending out a message to everybody that I've contacted about videos probably Saturday. Hey,
what day do you need it by?
I need it by the 25th, I think I said.
25th.
You
okay.
always tell a week before you actually need it.
That's no big deal, Debbie. No big deal at all. Who's this Facebook user right here?
Hey.
And
is it Fat Albert? Oh, it's Sydney. Hey.
Hey, sweetheart, how close are you to your surgery now?
Yeah.
Oh, she's on the other page. Somehow I need to get the Colorado page on my shortcuts.
It's the 23rd. So
okay, it's getting
11
close.
days away.
Okay. Zach's surgery's on Monday.
I was going to ask you about that. Where were you at on it?
Yeah, it's Monday.
What surgery is he having again, if you don't mind me asking?
When we moved here 16 months ago, he tore his rotator cuff because he thought he was He-Man.
Oh.
And move all the furniture, but we didn't realize that. I mean, he tore it a little bit, but we didn't. He hurt, but not bad. And then, through the whole year, he was moving stuff by himself, doing things. And one day you could see a bruise on his pec, and it was pretty bad. And he was saying it was hurting. Well,
I remember he tweaked it really, really bad one of those times that I was there.
Yeah. And, he goes to move and he's like, oh, and he can't move. And I'm like, but it took this long for the doctor to okay a surgery. So here we are. And I sent him some things today that he didn't care for because they said, you cannot, your hand's going to be in a sling. Your arm's going to be in a sling. Yep. You can't even put an object in your hand to hold it because you can screw it up. It's got a 17 to 97% re-tear rate. And he's fought this long for the first surgery. He better not move that fucker. I don't care if I have to tape him all the way around. He better not move that fucker.
I can tell you from experience, because I had shoulder surgery myself, that the first 3 weeks are brutal.
I bet.
I can imagine.
I bet. But the amount of pain that he's been going through this whole time, I don't think that it's going to be anything close to what he's been going through. So
it's going to be worse, honestly.
Oh yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's going to be worse because actually, Sydney, if you hold on.
Yeah, she used to come up her name.
Yeah, because I've seen her before. Her name appear previously without being Facebook user.
This is the first time she's come up that way.
This is because she was either on the network page or on the Universal page. Probably the network
click
page.
that one, Sydney.
Yeah.
Give that one a shot.
Yeah, but I'm going to take off Monday so I can go there with him and bring him home. He's on his own after that because I have to work. They did tell him he needs to be in a recliner to sleep or sit straight up. Which this man's already had
here we go.
surgery.
Now she's showing up.
There we go. He's already had neck surgery. He walked around 3 years with a broken neck. He has a pain tolerance of I don't know who. And then after his neck surgery, he had to sleep in a recliner because he had to, hold it up. After his motorcycle accident, of course, he broke his head, he broke his neck, all of that. So pain, he lives with it every single day. He lives with migraines every single day and goes through them, through the day with them. He's obviously on pain pills, but they're not anything crazy. So, it's to the point where his pain pills are like aspirin to us.
Yeah.
So he wants off of them, completely off of them, which is going to take probably some other medication to help with the withdrawals. This has been 9 years now. So once he gets this fixed, his neck is finally fixed because he had the injections where they didn't block the nerves, but they put steroids in them, and his neck hasn't hurt near as bad anymore. It got to the point where he couldn't turn it at all.
Really?
So, this is on the way to getting rid of all the other crap, which hopefully will stop the kidney stones. We won't be going to the ER anymore.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, Nicole's still on.
I remember when I was recovering from my shoulder surgery, I forget what I was doing, but I was upstairs. And I just had a sudden jerk of my shoulder, and it dropped me.
Hey, Denise.
Hi, Denise. It dropped me to my knees because it was so incredibly bad.
Yeah.
He is not going to want to move his shoulder at all. But here's the thing.
Good.
Depending on what all he is having done and what the surgeon wants to do as far as physical therapy, when I had my surgery, I was in physical therapy the next
Sam. Sorry, Jeremy, go on.
The next day, and I think they had me up to about here.
Yeah.
As far as that was as far as
But
I
that hurts. I mean, even that
did.
hurts. And physical therapy is really rough for him because they had him doing physical therapy while it was torn, thinking it was going to fix it because they didn't do an MRI. And it's torn in like 2 or 3 spots. I mean, it's pretty bad. So, I think he doesn't care. Even if it's more painful than what it is now, he wants it done. I just need to keep him from, doing what he's used to doing. Because even now, when he's holding it like this, it's painful. But he doesn't think about it and reaches, and then he's like, oh my God, and he can't. So
Jeremy,
it's be fun for a while.
Jeremy, looks like Denise says that they want you to come back. You know what? Maybe this time I'd be able to tag along down with Jeremy this time.
Denise, start talking to him.
It's funny she says that because I was just thinking yesterday that I needed to get back down there because of the dog tags she had.
That's right.
She made a post about these dog tags that they found, and one person said, "Hey, I found somebody in Decatur, Indiana, which is only 20 minutes south of me." And I was thinking, you know what? If I were to come down there, I could just grab those tags and take them to the person there in Decatur. But Denise later said that the person in Decatur is not the actual person that those tags belong to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, Nicole here says, sorry, Train, it's a rough road. You will get through it. It's hard to stop doing just everything when you're hurt,
He
Wasn't the right
is
person.
very determined, and he always takes care of everybody before him. And so, it's one of those things. He's just going to have to stop because we're fixing to have a grandbaby, which we found out this grandbaby, my daughter texted me yesterday and said, oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
My daughter texted me yesterday and said that she thinks she has this, and I don't remember what she called it, but the symptoms are actually, well, Denise would know. She's a nurse. I had to look up the symptoms, and they are exactly what she's been telling me she has. She's been sick her whole pregnancy. It's a terrible, it's awful.
I can only imagine.
Morning sickness?
Yeah, we thought so. Her first trimester, her last baby, she had morning sickness. She got over it. It was done. It was over with. But no, this is, she calls it,
Tennis elbow. I've never heard of that before.
Oh, I have.
How come
What?
I haven't heard of that? Denise
yeah,
says she thinks she has tennis elbow.
no,
What-
I've got it. That
what
shit
is
is
that?
not a joke. You could just do the vacuum cleaner or be on your mouse on the computer, and it's like, oh my gosh, no, that stuff is not a joke.
So, what exactly is tennis elbow?
It's I don't really know what causes it or what, Denise.
I want to say it has something to do with arthritis, but I'm not really sure.
Sounds like, though, regardless of how it's caused, it sounds like it's obviously very, very painful. You don't play tennis. Yeah.
Fun. I know some people that
That's
have
what it
it. It's not fun.
It's cholestasis, and
Yeah,
it causes you to,
Severe
The,
irritation in the joint tendons.
yeah. Cholestasis, and when I looked it up, the reason she looked it up is she's made her hands and her feet bloody from just itching.
Oh,
And it keeps her awake. Her urine is very dark. She has her eyes are yellow, like she's jaundiced.
That's dehydration right there.
that's
Nope.
dehydration.
Nope.
It's not.
She drinks a lot of water, and that's why she brought it to her doctor's attention.
Oh,
And he said he didn't pay any attention to her. She's told him all these symptoms. He didn't pay attention. Finally, she said, could it be this? Because she Googled her own symptoms. Of course, you Google them, you're going to die. But he said, yes, it very well could be. Let's do a blood test. If that's the case, they cannot let the baby go any longer than, I think she said, 37 weeks. If it goes over 37 weeks, the baby can die.
Oh,
And I don't
sounds
know
like
about her.
biliary duct blockage. That's what
Huh?
Denise is saying. Sounds like biliary duct
Are
blockage.
they going to induce labor or?
Yes,
are
they're
they
going to induce her, and she called it cholestasis, cholestasis, and delivering at 37 plus weeks, fetal death, is what she said. The doctor told her.
Wow.
So she had the blood test done today, and if that's the case, she is delivering on November 12th. So we shall see. This girl,
That's still 4 more weeks from now.
yeah,
Fancy word for
she fought tooth and
gallstones.
nail. Gallstones, really?
So here's a question then I got, because you since we just brought up about tennis elbow, why is it even called tennis elbow? Can it have something to do with tennis itself?
Because
Or?
tennis players are constantly using that elbow like that, and
Oh,
it
that's
stretches.
right.
The
Okay.
same thing we. Hello.
Ghost.
No.
That's baby girl.
Oh, that's baby.
Did I help
See, they
your
look.
little
I
scrawny ass?
can't keep up with all these names.
Ghost is completely white.
You smell like a fish. What the hell?
Sure, she didn't just eat.
She
Her eyes are
said, "None of
glowing.
ain't
Too.
no fish."
Denise said she developed it when she moved into this house and started scrubbing.
What did they do to fix it?
Beats me.
I know a friend of mine died in junior high school, first year of high school. Get your tongue off me. The first year of high school, because she went to go help her boyfriend like clean out a camper, and it had mouse poop in it, and she inhaled the mouse poop, died of hantavirus.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was like a flu, and then just dead.
Apparently, I didn't know that it could require surgery.
Hi, David.
Oh, hi there,
That's
David.
probably why they won't do anything until after the baby's born. But can it hurt the baby? I mean, they're telling her she has to deliver at 36 weeks.
Yeah, jeez.
Well, see, she has POCS. POCS, yeah. And so she didn't want any more kids. She wasn't supposed to have the first one. She had her first one. She was like, yes. And her husband said he wanted another one. He wanted to try for a boy. Well, she's got another girl. And he said, I'm not trying. She goes, I'm not trying again. I'm done. And because she had postpartum depression so bad that she couldn't bond with her baby real quick. So, and a lot of women don't realize they have that. And that's how, bad things happen to babies because women don't realize they have it.
One of Denise's daughters has PCOS.
That's it. I get the letters mixed up. That's it.
What's PCOS?
It's polycystic. Anyway, it's cysts on your ovaries type of thing, and it causes women to grow facial hair and be chunkier.
Yeah.
Than normal women without a cause. I mean, that's the cause, but you can't. Eating less doesn't help. Different things just doesn't help, and.
That's she just brought it up. Polycystic ovarian disease.
Yes. But I mean, she's a beautiful girl. And she always thinks of herself differently because she looks different. And like, she's gorgeous. What? You can't have it all. None of us have it all. Sorry.
Exactly.
Take what you got and
that's why they have that. That's why they got that term. No one's perfect.
Yeah, we're not. And for a long time, I in school, I was always like this because of the scar on my face. Finally, I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Somebody would ask me about it. I'm like, I got in a knife fight. They lost.
Just tell him you got into a knife fight with Brad and that he lost.
Yeah, that. Him and his little demon, yeah.
Here, I haven't seen him say anything in a while.
Yeah, he's been pretty quiet unless he's at work.
He probably is. He does. Work quite a bit.
He did say something 6 minutes ago.
Also, what Denise said regarding Nick, my question on tennis elbow, they recommend resting it, and it could also require surgery. She doesn't have time for either.
Right, I agree.
Brad's still
I don't
here.
either.
Got rid
No,
of that
you
team in
did not,
2015.
because it's attached to your ass and it's growling.
Hey, Brad, you should see the demon that I'm writing about right now. The book that I'm writing, I'm really enjoying this one. I'm already 75,000 words into it, and I'm not even at the end of part 2 of this. There's going to be 3 parts
Oh
to
my
it.
gosh, you got a long way to go.
Oh yeah, my initial anticipation for it was to be 150,000 words.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Only 8 more years, and I am free of the demon.
Oh, what I didn't get to tell y'all the other day, I don't think I even told you. Uh-oh. I think the dog got in trouble.
Busted.
Which dog got in trouble, babe?
Oh, the one that loves his piss towel.
Oh, okay.
What?
We have a dog that takes towels and just tears the shit out of them if you leave them down.
Including ones he pees all over.
Did he piss on it?
Oh, no.
Okay,
Who knows?
Smell it and find out, because I ain't.
You got your damn mind.
Then throw it away.
The day after.
Are you absolutely sure Ernie didn't do that and just forget about that? That's a long way to travel.
It is.
Yeah, so I didn't tell y'all I went into the ER the other night. No, it's been a week ago now. Anyway, I thought I had blood clots again.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Well, my insurance refused to do a scan to get me off the blood thinners. They're like, nope, it's not medically necessary. The hell? You're going to pay $200 for Xarelto a month, but you're not going to pay for a scan to get off of it? It makes no sense to me. So,
especially if they're paying most of that prescription anyway.
Yeah.
They're paying all but $35 of it. So that makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, they did a peer-to-peer the whole bit, and they never come back to me on it. Well, when I went in, well, now they think it's heart issues, and they're going to have me do a stress test. But I'm off the blood thinners because they did a scan there, and there was no blood clots in my lungs, nothing else. I'm like,
the thought, the thought of you and a blood test, I cannot imagine that's going to be real pretty.
I'm like, are you serious right now? But yeah, I got off the blood thinner as soon as I found out that there was no blood clots. I'm like, I'm done. I'll drink beet juice to kind of keep it thinner, but I'm done. There's no reason for that.
This actually reminds me of something that Tim Kohler went through a couple of years ago. He needed to have surgery on his shoulder, and the insurance company denied it, saying, no, he doesn't need that. Just give him therapy. And his injury, I think, was about the same as what mine was. And I had issues with my shoulders for a number of years until finally it snapped.
Yep.
And first they had to go through physical therapy and all of that. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
insurance bullcrap.
And it did feel better. Then about a year later, it started hurting really bad. I went to the doctor. I was like, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want any of this physical therapy crap. I want an MRI on the shoulder and figure out what is wrong. I don't want to go through all of this stuff here.
Yep.
You have to.
Yeah, definitely.
And he did. He got me with an MRI, took a look at it. Yeah, you need surgery.
Yeah.
Like, the hell you, I mean, like, yeah.
Denise, put her comment back up there. You know, I never thought about anything like that. I worked in nursing homes. I've done all that and heard, you know, people talk about, hey, you know, this is a blood clot and you see it. It's hot to the touch. It's red around it. You know, I knew what to look for. I was completely wrong because they put me on estrogen for my hot flashes. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. That caused blood clots. And I should have read it. I didn't. That's my own fault. But I went into the doctor. There was one day I was like, the bottom of my foot hurt so bad I thought I broke it, but it's not swollen. It's not, it just felt broke. And this went on for about 2 weeks. And then it was up in my calf. And I was like, this feels awful. I went to the doctor and he said, no. I said, do I have a blood clot? And he was like, no. He said, if you did, it'd be hot. It'd be red. You have none of that. And I'm like, okay. So 2 weeks later, and you guys remember that I was on the show trying to breathe and I couldn't.
I remember that. Yeah.
It hurt to breathe. It hurt to take a breath. It hurt to move. It was already in my lungs at that point. It was done. And the next step would have been my heart, and that would have been it. Gone, done, or my brain. Either one would have been done. We'd have had a death on the show, immediate.
I worry about blood clots because I sit in this chair all day long.
Don't do that. Get up, walk around, then come back. Get up, walk around, then come back. I sit 10 hours a day.
I've stopped riding for a while.
Get up.
Do something, sit down, get up, but
that's why I work.
Do any good or not?
If they aren't medical, then you can threaten them. That's an idea because I have fought them so much.
The way that I understand it is that insurance companies have their own doctors, and all they do is take a look at everything. But the thing is, they're looking at this, but they're not looking at the person.
Right. And this was a peer-to-peer. It was a phone call. There was nothing more. It was a phone call.
See, when you also brought up too about, you know, not wanting to sit down and you got to move around and stuff, it's like, that's why I work at a grocery store to keep myself standing, you know, have my moments of standing and then other times my moments of sitting to keep those blood clots from ever happening.
And that's the thing. I know that. Remember when these video games were they still are, but when we were young enough.
Hope you get better.
Good night, Sam. Love you. These, you know, the video games where people would sit and have competitions how long they can sit and play these video games. Well, they would sit on a potty chair or whatever and not move and have their food next to them. I mean, this was a real thing that they were doing.
I remember that.
Yep.
And people were dying of the blood clots because, I mean, young teenage kids are dying of blood clots because they weren't moving. I work 10 hours a day. I get up and I'm walking around. And even if it's while I'm talking on the phone, I'm walking around. Even if it's to the bed and back 10 feet, I'm not moving.
But is that enough, though?
Hold on 1 second.
No, probably not.
That noise.
You have a demon?
What's that?
You have a demon?
No, I've been hearing there's something outside. I don't know. I've been hearing these weird noises, and I have no idea what they are.
Nick, you live in Chicago. You're supposed to hear weird noises.
Not his neighborhood.
Yeah, but I live in the suburbs, not like I'm in the city.
That don't matter.
Oh.
Where's your kitty cat?
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what that was. I keep hearing these weird noises going on outside.
Where's your cat at?
Cat's downstairs with my mom. Hey, look who's here too. Erde.
You know, little people talking about your ailments, depressing. I have. Oh, yeah? Mister, I was in bed? Really?
Brad, shut up. Oh, I didn't know this, Denise. Her daughter recently moved to Chicago.
Oh.
Didn't know that. Now, she also had said that's why we do the hormone pellets. They don't have as big of a threat, and they get regular lab work with them, or they won't give them to them.
You know,
She has
I
an
thought
annual
about that.
mammogram.
I did think about that because I remember you saying that when we were at Waverly, and I wasn't, with as quickly as I was only on those pills maybe 3 weeks when that happened. So now I'm scared of everything.
She also added too. Last time she asked about it, denial was a person with a high school diploma. She threatened a lawsuit if something went wrong, and they approved everything she wanted.
I bet.
Wow.
She said the pellets are amazing, though.
I did hear her talking about those when we were down there, and they were like a huge weight loss thing. They made them feel better, and I think Denny's on my mind. What the hell's going on with Denny? I also believe that Ernie was taking them at the time, wasn't he? He had him inserted.
So we'll find
Hey.
out.
But,
We'll find out
yeah, I
shortly.
mean, yeah, the things I heard about that was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he does.
I need some sort of weight loss regimen because this shit ain't working.
Well, I look at it like this. My ass is getting old. I ain't about to be dating nobody anymore anyway. I'm done. Like me the way I am or don't, sleep in the other room. I'm your shit.
Yeah, but I would like to date somebody.
So do I. And being the youngest one here.
You better get to it. There ain't nothing wrong with either one of y'all.
At least you got time on your hands. Or you got
Me?
you got more time than I do. I got 15 years
Yeah,
on
that's what I need.
something like that.
That's why we're always getting jiggy up in her. Helps energy, aches, pains, and headache, everything. Wonder if that's something I could probably take, since I get my headaches and migraines a lot too.
I've been
You need to look into that. You need to look into Botox. If they're that
I
bad.
thought
you need
about
to-
Botox. I think I brought it up to my parents at one
Oh,
point.
hell
No?
no.
What's the problem with Botox?
I wouldn't do it.
What's
Why?
the problem? What's the problem with them?
Freezes your face.
Oh,
It
geez.
does not freeze your face. They do Botox in your forehead and the back of your neck. If it freezes your forehead, great. You have no fucking wrinkles. If it freezes your neck, great. You have no wrinkles in them.
No comment on that, Denise.
It's not in your face. They don't do Botox in your face.
I see the look on Ernie's face, and his is more of a because I seen it at Walmart when she was going hee ho on it.
Hormones, baby.
It was the funny. I'm telling you, it was the funniest damn thing. Ernie looks so pitiful.
Pitiful? Ernie?
I'm betting Eileen would disagree with that if she was on right now.
Yeah, the thing is, you get an idea of what these two do to each other.
You don't get that idea
I have to keep
by their
in the eye.
pose?
Yeah, but I was there. I got the full unabridged Pac-Man experience.
You witnessed it. You're a witness.
I witnessed it. I'm thinking, holy cow! If these two
He's
don't kill
kept
each
on
other,
his toes.
they are meant to be together.
No.
It's just so funny.
That's why I envy the fact that I wish I could have gone down. But hey, if you go back down, maybe I'll have a better chance to go back down this time.
You should. That's I mean, I wouldn't have paid near as much attention to Waverly if it hadn't have been for them two, because they made the experience what it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't, oh yeah, this happened here, this
They
happened
really need
here,
their
blah,
own
blah, blah,
TV
done.
show. They really need their own TV show.
Uh-uh.
I can
Uh-uh.
imagine. I had to quit wearing my backpack purse when we were shopping.
I believe it. Now, here's the thing, and this is how Denise explains it to me because she doesn't go into Walmart very often.
Okay.
Well, she said this several times, but she doesn't people well.
he uses it as a leash.
Yeah, so whenever she goes into Walmart, it's like she's seeing all of these things for the first time. And I heard the word no more times in that 20 or 30 minutes we were in Walmart, more than I have
in your entire life.
I won't say that.
So Ernie's on the top of saying all those no's.
Well, it was more like, oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. It was great.
I mean, Jeremy, I gotta say though, let's be honest, you probably have heard more no's than ever. Not only just from Ernie, but then just the week before with Scott. when he spoke into
well, I guess if you put all of those no's together, one right after the other, what Scott did. But here's the thing: it wasn't the fact that Scott said no the way that he did. It was the fact that it actually transcribed it on his little thing on the clock. That's what made it funny. It wasn't him saying it; it was that what he was saying. That was what made it so funny.
And boy, we were laughing for like half hour, 45 minutes after that, Jeremy. We were like laughing so hard.
At least, and you got part of that on video too.
Yeah, was that me or was that? I thought that was Tammy who shot it.
No, I think it was you.
I'm gonna have to try to find.
Somebody got it.
I'm gonna have to try to find that video.
Denise, do you guys still have your little hairless babies? Your guinea pigs or hamsters or whatever they were?
They
I
do.
I was gonna say I forgot about those. Yeah.
I used to see pictures of them all the time, and now I don't.
Yeah, it was in the spare bedroom that they had at the very front of the house. Because I had my pick of which room I wanted to stay in, either this one room that was right there in the middle, or there in the front with the guinea pigs. I ended up staying in the main room, the big one.
Ernie, you're the one that boy. Don't give me that bullshit.
Well, think of this, Ernie. It could be a lot worse. You could have a goat.
A goat?
What?
A goat.
See, Denise has been obsessing over getting a goat in there.
You know what? Goats are amazing little creatures.
But here's the thing. They got a big enough backyard where they can have a goat.
They're amazing creatures. They really are. They are so smart. Smart enough to knock you in your ass when
I was gonna say with those horns they got, especially the ones with the horns on them.
I thought those were more billy goats than regular.
I thought aren't they more billy goats? It was a Rural King a couple times a week.
If they don't work out, they're good barbecue.
I could tell that you're giving Denise ideas, Jeremy.
Denise has already had this idea long before I ever thought of it. I got it from her.
That's funny. Oh my God.
You know what? I'm beginning to wonder if dogs make good barbecue.
I don't think he will have enough room in his backyard after he builds his kayak watching hut. What?
What do you want?
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
What do you want?
I don't know anything about that either. I'm still trying to look for that video.
But they do have, in all seriousness, they do have a really big backyard. And there's a steep downhill portion of it to get to the far back of the backyard that is connected to the river. It is right back where the two rivers merge into one. And at the edge of that backyard, it's a straight drop down 10 feet, 15 feet, something like that.
A duck and break him in gently to the idea of the goats. What the hell? There's naked kayakers back there. What?
Yeah. You didn't hear that story? You didn't retain
Nope.
that story the last
Nope.
time they were on?
Do I really want to know?
It's actually kind of cute.
Just people that was across the river from their backyard. He told this story on the show.
I probably wasn't on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, I take it back.
Yeah.
Okay, I do remember now. Yeah, what the hell am I saying?
Because these people were on the other side and early not realizing that they were naked. He was on his phone to look at him. When he zoomed in, oh, they're naked.
That's
And I
right.
thought it was just one person that was naked.
There was a woman, I know that. Denise,
Food tank
you should
point.
you should get a swan or like geese. They'll break him in real good. He'll be glad to have a goat.
That's weird that it's not. Yeah, she said it was a woman. That's weird that it's not too far from some nudist area or whatever it's called.
I don't know one that's nearby there.
When I lived in Kentucky, they were everywhere.
Oh my gosh. Why am I not surprised?
Of course, the town I lived in might have been 200 people at the most, and that's counting probably animals.
One, yeah. Well, Ernie says one naked chicken. Chick taken selflessly by the river.
I remember that. That's
Now, I do want to ask this with Denise, changing the subject here really quick, because now that I'm bringing back the 13th Dimension show, I would like, if she would do it, I would like to get Denise on and talking about Marvel. Now, what I don't know is I know that she's been a big fan of the Marvel movies, but Denise, have you gone through all the different comics from way back when and all the different? That's going to be a no. I didn't. Denise.
What can you do?
Well, I know that she doesn't like getting on camera, but I had to ask.
she does not. No.
Oh, that's okay then.
All right, down.
The thing about West Point was the one that shocked me the most.
Come on.
Well, aside from the fact that the whole town is on the National Registry, was a few blocks from a few blocks from where they live. There is this pole that actually has signs on it where the water level went up to for certain floods. And there was this one that seemed like it was 50 feet up from the 1937 flood.
Oh, the Ohio River flood. Yeah.
And I just could not believe how high that was, because that is a lot of water.
That was one of the worst. I think that was one of the worst floods in the history of the United States. The Ohio River flood of
I
37.
think that was the worst flood.
It was, yeah. Prior to that, funny enough, 10 years prior to that was the Mississippi River flood of 1927. But I think the one 10 years later was even worse. Yeah. Here's another historic house on the market.
I really like that one just down the way from them. I think they said it used to be a bank. That's got the corner entrance to it. I really, really like that one. Just for the entrance.
Well, I'm still looking for this hilarious video, but what I did manage, well, I haven't found it yet. But what I did manage to find, however, what I did manage to find was the so-called Paranormal Beauty Sleeping Beauty Challenge.
Oh yeah, there's some good times.
Can't wait to do it again soon.
Well, so far of all the challenges that I've seen, they've all had one thing in common.
Me?
You.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But no. You did get one of me.
Yeah, I did.
You did get one of me. Yeah.
But there's still more videos of me falling asleep than you.
Yeah.
Okay, see now the old 2-story blue one has a historical marker and it's on the market for $80,000.
That's
Oh,
actually
yeah, Irene.
Wow.
Hi, Irene.
Decorating Halloween cookies this morning. That's awesome.
That is actually not bad.
Mm,
See, we're
But-
still decorating.
not at all. Well,
Is how much of a fixer-upper would it be? That'd be my question.
yeah. I mean,
Oh well, she did say that it has the historical marker on it, so there's not that
It needs work,
be
she
able to
said.
do a whole bunch to it,
mhm.
but you would still have to keep it within.
Probably about $30,000.
No,
Okay. Well,
no,
that's
no,
still
no,
not
no,
too
no.
bad then. Yeah, that's still not too bad then. I don't know if I might do that.
The whole town is really nice. Doesn't even feel like it just felt like one big neighborhood. Doesn't even feel like a town or a city. It just felt like a stretched out neighborhood.
We have some of that over here too, like even like certain areas of Chicago where you go through it and it when you not necessarily the downtown areas, but more the surrounding towns. Like I can actually a really good example, and this is a very historic area. We have it's about 20 minutes away from me. It's in a town called Wilmette, and Wilmette, it's a town itself, but just the entire area just has more of a neighborhood feeling to it because
Mhm.
it's got all these historic houses along the way, which obviously they're private homes, so you can't really gain access into them. And so they have a lot of historical accuracy about them. Even some of the streets that they have, like when you go into the actual neighborhoods, are still cobblestone roads. So
Yeah, and where I lived in
May
Kentucky,
vary.
which was 18 years ago now, but Kentucky is honestly a world of its own. Maybe not Louisville, that area, but like the surrounding towns. It's really, yeah. Ours wouldn't have even complained. Denise, Ernie, you might know Mount Eden. It's close to Taylorsville. I don't know what it is now, but it was so small. We used to ride our horses through town. I mean,
who's this?
Don,
Donald?
no, I don't know who that is, but Donald just messaged me. He said he can hop on now.
Ernie
awesome.
said, yeah, I guess him saying yes was
he knows what that is.
Taylorsville,
Now,
yeah.
I lived there for a long time, and it might have been a town of 300. And like I lived in an old farmhouse in the valley where it flooded. Yes, it flooded many times, but the tornado
that's
never
Nicole.
hit it.
Nicole?
Yeah.
Wonder why she's a Facebook user now.
My guess is maybe she was on the network page.
I'm not a Kentucky girl, but Ernie knows.
I wasn't either, but I fell in love with the place. I really did. We would go to, like Taylorsville had the, is it Taylorsville? Yeah, they had the horseshoeing school. We would go there. We would go to the horse auctions, and they would have like, ones that didn't sell that they would give you for like $50. And I had so many horses at that point.
Yeah, we didn't block you, Nicole.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, the areas around
What is like
Taylorsview
this?
Lake
My
are
husband got
growing pretty
permission
fast.
from the local police. Okay.
Because Denise said their population over there is around 800 people.
Areas around Taylorsville Lake are oh man,
The
Mount
thing
Eden's
I like
still
about
kinda
West
tiny.
Point is
Now
that you
Eden was
walk
just
one side
so.
to the other.
That's awesome, Irene.
No, Irene, if I could go to Japan, I would love to go see my son wrestle. He came for our wedding, and I would love to go see him wrestle. He's pretty well known in Japan, but
I
that's
can't
one of
imagine,
those things.
We know you are. We know you are, Nicole. We know.
I
See-
cannot imagine a flight to get over to Japan.
He came in so exhausted, and it was so funny because he asked, he said, "All right, if I'm coming to your wedding, I'm going to officiate the wedding." I'm like, wait, I'm Googling, what do you have? Do you have to be ordained? Do you have to, what in Colorado? You don't have to be. You can walk up to anybody and marry them. So I was like, okay. He goes, do I need to be, what did he say? Endowed. I said, the fuck?
Ernie wouldn't want to put me on a plane to Japan.
Oh boy, I can just about imagine Denise and Ernie how you two would act with each other.
I don't know. I don't know these days if even the Japanese would like us. We have, I don't want to get political, but we have made enemies all over the place anymore.
She says that plane fares are cheaper now. So
They are. I just worry about our speakers. I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
Have really made some enemies with all the countries, and it's really sad because that's not all of us. That's like, yes, we're having an issue with Russia right now, but that's not all the Russians.
It's
I
not.
know Russians; they are not
Well,
they don't give two shits about us.
It's
Believe it or not,
it's always the leaders that make the enemies, and then they make the citizens who are the soldiers go in and fight their battles for them.
Yep. Well, and you know what? I could just throw this out as a complete example. I have, again, with my international connections, I have a few connections out in Ukraine, but I also have at least one connection out in Russia. I've spoken to the guy. In fact, you're going to find this hard to believe. This guy has even appeared on a segment of Paranormal Con on camera.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, they are
this
citizens
guy-
like we are.
They
They're
are,
not the
and-
leaders.
As far as I can tell you right now, because I understand that he can't really speak a lot against it, because over in Russia they don't have like the freedom of speech over there.
Right.
But I gotta give credit to this guy.
There's
He is, from what I can tell you right now, he's completely against what's happening. He does not like what Ukraine's going through. He's basically on our side, and if he was able to, he'd
that
fight.
way now.
Yeah, he
Lots
would be
of
fighting with us. And I mean, he feels terrible about it. And I got to give credit to him about one thing. The fact that he's reaching out, even though, and here's the other thing, in Russia, you're not even supposed to have Facebook in the first place. They don't allow, it's one of 3 or 4 countries you're not allowed to have Facebook. I think the others are China, North Korea, and I think Iraq or Iran. It's one of the last two. But I got to give credit for him because he has been speaking out a lot against this. And this guy, he's putting his life at risk because he's speaking out against what's going on. He should have been in a
Right,
Russian
he is.
prison by
He really is.
he should have been in a Russian prison by now, but so far he's managed to escape custody. I think he said he was eventually going to leave Russia and try to flee the border into I think it was
Oh,
Finland.
I
So
wish him luck is all I can say. My dad escaped.
hello,
which
Chris.
Russia was part of the Iron Curtain at that point. The communism. My dad was in Bulgaria, which Russian is pretty close to Bulgarian language. I can understand enough to know what's going on. And it's really sad because my dad told me growing up, he said, don't you, and even after the Iron Curtain came down, he said, if you ever go to Bulgaria to visit where
Yes.
I'm from, make sure you never say your maiden name, ever. He said, you will be killed. Even though the Iron Curtain's down, it's not a joke. You will be killed. And I'm like, we don't understand that now here. But he was so scared of the communism that he was like, don't you dare. Don't you ever say our name. Just don't.
that's right, what Irene's saying. Yeah, Japan is at war with Russia, China, and North Korea.
Yeah. And it's sad because I mean, I really don't understand the reason for all this. I just don't. Everybody should be able to share. Everybody should be able to, everybody has their own commodities. Everybody should be able to share. Everybody should be able to do what they want to do. I don't get it. I just don't.
This should be one of those things in which
Really?
even if our countries where even if we don't agree with each other, that doesn't mean that we have to fight about it.
Who
So
said that?
who is this Facebook user?
Yeah,
Jeremy,
who
since I
said
see a
that?
new one
Because
here.
That one there is Chris. The other one is I think is Nicole.
that one.
Oh, okay.
Nicole, where was your daddy from?
Well, we're waiting on the answer for that. Yeah, I mean, Irene also still makes a good point, though, that Japan will always be a friend with the U.S. I mean,
I hope so, because if not, we lose our son. I mean,
well, and if you think about it, too, with all these wars that have happened throughout history,
huh?
yes, it's true.
I'm lost.
Like, wait, what?
I'm lost.
Lost with what?
All I see is Facebook user. My daddy told me the
That's-
same thing. Then somebody said the daddy is me. I'm lost.
Rough and tough holler in Kentucky. After COVID, Japan is very angry with China.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah.
Well, and there's also tensions right now also going in which I'm sure you guys have also, I mean, there's no war in place, but we're keeping an eye on it. Of course, I'm sure we've also heard too in which China is also trying to take over Taiwan as well. And the United States has been keeping an eye on that. They're like, you better not. Because even though Taiwan is still its own separate country, we do a lot of business with them, with Taiwan.
I
We
just
go-
don't understand any of this.
A lot of countries, and to be honest, there are some countries out there that we have no business doing business with.
Right.
Irene, you
Right
said
out and say that.
Have the
we have
navies
the
in-
Navy and Marines here in Japan. Do you mean
Right.
the Navy and Marines in Japan or from America?
I know, of course, there were. Well, if you kind of think about like during World War II, there was a number of American Navy and Marines that were there, but understandably, I mean, that was when we were enemies. But I don't know. I thought I heard the American soldiers were kind of assisting the Japanese. I'm not sure exactly. It's been a while since I've done my research on it.
I
Nicole
try
just-
not to, because I just don't understand there's no reason to fight. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand that.
From America, their
your
bases are
bosses-
located there.
Okay. I know that our boy has dual citizenship here
So,
and there.
I was going to say, does he actually live in Japan as a resident?
He has
But
lived in Japan since high school, since
there you
he
go.
left high school.
Now you can see
There
Nicole.
you go.
She just messaged me personally. She was like saying, "It's me. What's going on with that?" And I was going to ask her, which page are you looking at? But she just kind of took care of it herself.
She knew what she was doing. Yeah, our boy has been there since he left high school and went there to go to college. And he teaches English to Japanese special needs children in the
okay.
daytime, and which is our nighttime.
The Todd is
That's
here.
odd. And then he wrestles in his off time.
Oh, hello there, Kaza from Scotland.
Hey.
I do want to touch up on this really quick.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yes. This right here. We'll get to Irene's comment in just a moment, but here.
Yeah, after having gone down there and spending 3 days at West Point, you definitely need to get the team out there. Fort Duffield, there's Donald. Fort Duffield was a really, really unique place because with it being a military fort, their
Right.
walls are made of dirt.
That begs the question. Do you think maybe what's going on in the world right now could be stirring them up?
Oh, and Denise also brings up too. They got Bigfoot reports too.
I did see that. I did.
Kentucky actually has. I think it was. I don't remember. I think it was Western. No, I think it was Eastern Kentucky. they actually have their own version of Bigfoot because like how there's each state kind of has like their own name. I know if it's Eastern Kentucky or Western Kentucky, one of the two sides, they have something there that's known as the what's either known as the Geneva Giant or the Hillbilly Beast.
Well, that makes sense for Kentucky. I understand that.
That's what they call it over there, from what I
you
heard.
If
really
really
don't
do anything Bigfoot related down in Kentucky, I have got to bring Tim down there because his nickname is the bald-headed Sasquatch.
Yeah.
But when you go to Kentucky, you really don't meet any more wholesome, friendlier people than Kentucky because they are who they are. They don't try to pretend to be anything they're not. They're actually really cool people. When I was living there, it was like, okay, I had a neighbor in Taylorsville, and this kid stole a motorcycle, that little dirt bike, brought it to our house. I didn't know it was stolen. He put it in our backyard. When I found out it was stolen, I went to his parents next door, and I'm like, look, he said, did you whoop his ass? I'm like, no, I did not. That's not my child.
I remember you telling us that story.
He's like, you better whoop his ass because if I whoop his ass, it's gonna be with this, and showed me this collar with spikes on
Chris,
it. And I'm like, I'll take care of it.
Chris also mentions that Colorado has a high Bigfoot site.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes, it absolutely does. And I intend on going that angle too.
I actually find that surprising because there's not a lot of wooded areas in Colorado.
But you got the mountains.
What?
You
What?
got a lot of mountains.
You got the
How you
mountains.
doing, Don? Never got to say hi. Good to see you again.
Jeremy, mountains wooded? Yes.
Well, Adrian, you know what? I still
Mountains is rocky. That's why they call it the Rocky Mountains.
No, they are very wooded. I promise you.
I know that too. I've been through there. Well,
Donald, how you doing?
Yeah, he's going to climb out of this conversation now.
Good to see you again, Donald. It's been a while.
It has. I'm sorry. I've had a lot going on lately.
Oh, I get it. I get
And
it.
your video is actually clear for once.
I got new internet.
I include my size 13s. Adrian, real quick, because you just gave me a reminder. I forgot to send this to you a few months ago. I got to send you that Monster Quest episode, if it's on YouTube still, about that version of Bigfoot, the Colorado Snow Beast.
And did it say where it was?
Yeah, I know. It's been several years since I've watched the episode, but they said one of the majority of sightings occur near, and this is where I used to go when I was younger, my family and I, Breckenridge.
Okay. Oh, Chris said Dennis has a Bigfoot howl recorded. Dennis is the one that was at the Abbey.
Yeah.
He was our tour guide at the Abbey. So I have some leads to follow.
You know what? I'm actually going to look for that episode right now, and I'll send you the link so you can check it out later.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm willing to go.
And Chris, if you have a link for the clip of Dennis having that howl, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'd
If
love
not,
to hear
we
that
can
too.
get it from Dennis or Chris can.
You know what? I just had an idea of something. And
I'm
this is
still waiting on Dennis to send me that thing that he found in the fog after we left.
I will text him.
Tell you what, I actually have a new idea. If he's able to send that Bigfoot howl, because since you guys have seen with Nick Files, I've been focusing on cryptids. Eventually, I will be doing an episode on Bigfoot. Obviously, there are thousands of Bigfoot sightings, as well as a lot of pieces of evidence. Way too many for me to cover on the show. But I am willing to show that recording if he was willing, if Dennis allows it. I'll show it on my show if he would like. He's been real
Chris or
sick.
I will ask him, but he's been. I knew he had a really bad episode. He was talking about that when he was on our show. He had a really bad episode, and I know he is sick, but I didn't realize he's gotten worse.
How bad is it?
Chris is actually one of his real good friends, so he keeps up with all that.
Adrian,
Okay, good.
okay.
Good.
He's better now, according to his son.
Donald, how are things going for you?
Busy, busy, busy.
What are you doing to stay busy?
Let's see. I got family. I got
No, that don't count.
we got 2 that moved out this past fall.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
One's going to Ole Miss. She's going into pre-med in Ole Miss. Our son, one of our sons, he is at Mississippi for math and science up in Columbus, Mississippi, which is college prep school. You have to do all this stuff to get accepted, and your grades have to be really good. And basically, it's for a bunch of smart kids. So he's wanting to go into astro engineering
Oh my.
eventually.
Wow.
But
That's-
he's up there, so he lives up there. He comes home. He's coming home this weekend. So there's that.
Yeah.
Then my mother fell about a month or so ago, broke her hip.
Oh,
Oh,
So
that's I went through that. That's scary. That's really scary.
she's in the hospital. She's supposed to get out tomorrow, or no, Saturday. She's supposed to get out Saturday. And
What
She's
did
been
she hurt?
all this time?
huh?
She's been in the hospital all this time?
Yeah.
Oh
Wow.
that stuff is no joke after
There's
six.
a big backstory to all that, and I really don't want to throw all that stuff out on here because
well, that's understandable.
she
So
went to the
she's
doctor.
okay.
She was sick for a couple days and went to the doctor, and they sent her home. While she was home, she got dizzy and passed out, broke her hip. And before, when I went down and when we got her down there, so I went and picked her up, took her down there, and just from what she was telling me her symptoms were and all that, I knew she had she had either lower or upper GI bleed. Well, they sent her home. They said it's probably just a virus. And anyway, long story short, she broke her hip. She went back down there. They sent her to Jackson, did surgery. She stayed there for forever, and then she finally got back here to this hospital again. And anyway, it's been a big rigmarole. If they would have kept her there and did more tests and kept her overnight, she wouldn't have went through the broken hip and all that stuff. But anyway, that's another whole story. But that we haven't really done anything paranormal in a while. It's just been so busy. I can't.
Yeah.
We usually have a one scheduled in the little middle of October. Well, some of the people that oversee the place, Coachworth, they got a baby coming, and another guys be real busy. So we're probably not going to do anything this year, I would guess. They want to do one in November, but I'm like, we might just wait till spring and do a spring thing.
I haven't done anything paranormal in a while either since I've been to Ernie and Denise's house.
Well, you was on some road trips.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah. Well, and I've still been on the road. I got at least about one or two. I probably got only about one or two Paracons that I'm going to be going to. I was able to go to the Midwest one because I knew I needed to go for one at least during this Halloween season. So I got at least one or two more, which those two are. We don't know if we're going to both, but we got one coming up in Michigan, and then there's another in Iowa. But then after that, for the most part, all of our paranormal road trips, cons, and investigations, we're gonna be done once the holiday season arrives.
Yeah, it's called snow.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't do that.
I don't recall you saying anything about Iowa. I know you talked about the one in Michigan before.
So the last two. Oh, hello, Marianne, from Ghost House Paranormal, New Jersey. The last two we're laying our sights on. I mean, I know I just mentioned about the Milwaukee one this weekend, which I'm not sure if we're going to be able to make it to or not. And then also, then of course, Para Unity, which I wish I can go to. The other two is, you know what? Funny enough, Nicole just brought it up. There's the Mid-Michigan Paranormal Con. We are thinking about going to that one, Nicole. And then we also,
I'm thinking of.
it's probably it's November 4th to 5th. And
Just be careful with that.
no,
stuff.
wait. No, I think you're thinking of the other one, the Michigan Paracon, the one that occurs during the summer. They're doing like a secondary Paracon, but it's not as big as the MI Paracon. And then the other one that in Iowa is the Quad Cities Paracon in Davenport, Iowa. That's literally right next to the Illinois-Iowa border. Right next. In fact, when we went to Colorado, we passed through that area.
So around the 80 area.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm just going to put this out there because it won't shut up. I don't know who's got a Jared in their family involved, whatever. Whoever that is, he's wanting to connect and say hi. So whoever the hell that is, he's yours. Have fun with it.
Indiana Bigfoot Research Organization
Oh.
camp out tomorrow. That sounds fun.
It does.
We're in Indiana, just out of curiosity, Ernie. Oh, looks like, well, I got to say, at least this makes me feel a little bit better knowing I'm not the only one that can't make it to Perry Unity 5 as much as I'd love
Hey, that person ain't up to Scarefest.
to.
Brother.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Oh, it's in Morgan Monroe Park. That's where the Bigfoot event is.
Seriously though, I have been wanting to set up a Scarefest, and for whatever reason, we always seem to schedule Perry Unity the same time that Scarefest is, and we schedule Perry Unity before they even announce their dates.
Oh,
Because I know the one year Tim Crystal and I were talking about wanting to go to Scarefest because of how big it is. And when we scheduled Perry Unity, about a month later, Scarefest came out with their dates,
Nicole.
and
yeah. Actually, I do, Nicole.
but at that point, we
I'm sorry.
couldn't change the
Perry
dates for Perry Unity because we had already announced it. People were already signing up to set up. And, well, we don't go to Scarefest. And Perry Unity is our priority because of how deeply involved we're in it.
Yeah, I mean those things are so fun to get to know people, and like when we went to Salina, I wouldn't know most of these people if it wasn't for Salina. And
Yeah.
as big of a shit show as that turned out to be,
That's a different story.
it is. But you know what? We did make some close friends, and we did make some connections that we still talk to today. And I think that's what matters is the connections you make. It's not what happened there. It's not.
Well, as a matter of fact,
any of
as a matter of fact, since Donald's here, that was actually the first time I got to meet you, Donald.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
First
met
time
all of you there.
Yeah. That's the first time I've ever seen the human pendulum done, and I'm still too scared to do it because I don't know enough about it. But you
Done
know,
it
if I
myself.
was back with the group that was doing it, I'd love to do it. I just didn't get to go.
Yeah, big things going on. Apparently, Nicole says. Oh, I didn't know this. Irene was invited to have that, but can't afford $3,000.
To help out, you got to pay to help out.
Chris, kiss my ass with that
Well,
jump scare bullshit.
that's for the.
Oh God, Chris, don't even
that was
start.
for the fly out there.
Yeah.
Hi, baby girl. What are you doing? Come on. What's wrong?
Back to my life. I've been pushing. I teach martial arts, and I've been pushing my class since September, and so I've had to add a bunch of classes.
I'm sorry, Don. I just got to show this quickly.
My ass still stings from that woman.
I think everybody's does.
I'm sorry, Don. Continue
I
on.
missed something there.
No, what Ernie
Eileen,
just
they
said.
said the worst thing about Salina was Eileen.
I can only imagine
real
she's.
quick,
My
Real
ass
quick.
still hurts from her.
to tell you a quick story about Eileen. We had a guest come on last week, and she met him at Fear Fest. So she got
Joe.
she got me and him into a chat because he had never used StreamYard before, and wanted me to show him how to use it so that he could be on the show. First thing I asked him, did she slap your ass?
And she didn't.
I said,
Didn't.
I that was the first thing I asked him. And he said no, and I thought, oh, Eileen must not have liked you then. But
Donald,
it turns out that if she did, there probably would have been a problem with
There
that.
probably would have been
uh,
a man named Jimmy.
Donald, do you know who that is?
I don't, but we've got at least one that we know of here, and then
Okay.
Um,
Donald,
Pretty
would
strange.
you explain to Jill the human pendulum theory?
Yeah, because she just came on.
oh goodness, Ernie and them are experts on that.
I don't know if he's still on. Is he still here?
Yeah, he was. He just said this about Eileen.
Ernie's still on. Denise
From what I
probably.
understand, the human pendulum, you have a conduit in the center of a circle of people, and you got to kind of the conduit has to kind of more or less zone out, relax, and the others will ask questions. And I'm wanting to say, I can't remember if you close your eyes. I don't think you do. But anyway, the conduit's in the center, and the other ones are asking questions, and you get a yes. You have to kind of set it up to where, all right, give us what the yes answer will be, and that conduit will start leaning one way or another, and that's your yes and your no. And as you're asking those questions, you're sitting there, and I'm wanting to say I was the conduit at one point in time when we were in at the temple.
I think you were before I left.
And yeah, it's weird. It's weird that you're sitting there and you start leaning over like, whoa,
Pickle Tom's in the house.
Well, I remember
Hey, Denny.
when
you get
this-
done, you have to ground out and all. You have to get grounded and stuff.
I know Eileen did it. That's the last one I watched before we had to go.
I think Misty was the last one to do it, and she
That
was just
turned out bad.
Is the conduit's ears covered?
taken.
Don't think mine was.
No.
See,
No.
Ernie says, "Don't close your eyes. We need to see your eyes to make sure you're not getting affected."
Okay.
Pickle Nick.
Yeah, it was really neat to see. And if I would have been able to stay a little bit longer, but at that point Zach was passing kidney stones, so we needed to go. But
Those kidney stones are horrible.
Oh, I'm sure.
Horrible.
I tell
I'll
you,
tell
he
you what.
has them at least once a year, and it is bad.
I've had them so much in my right side that I don't even know I have them anymore. I just
Right, and that's
'cause when you first start having them real bad, it's that painful,
yes,
stuff from the back and all the way to the side and the front. Once it gets to the front, you're good.
right.
You just got to pass it. But the past several of them that I've had on the right side, I didn't even know I had it until I passed it.
Right.
It just like it made a track through there
Yeah.
so much.
And his was so bad that he had to get some medication, something to open the canal up. And he was so sick, and so it was so bad. I just can't even.
The last
can't
bad
imagine.
one I had was my left side, and I about passed out. I had to call my
That's-
wife
yeah.
to come back home, to come get me. And
It was funny because he came down and it lodged, and
Oh.
he came downstairs with 2 flights of stairs and it lodged, and he found somehow to get back up to me 2 flights of stairs and say, "I'm going to the hospital." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" He wakes me up 3 a.m. "Excuse me?" He said, "I'm going to the hospital." "The fuck you are. I'm taking you to the hospital. You're not driving like this."
oh no, you can't. If it's
No,
bad,
you can't.
He couldn't. There's no way he could, but he wanted to try not to keep me awake. What?
See, I passed kidney stones once so far in my life. It wasn't the spiky kind, so it wasn't bad. But I've been told I have more waiting to come out.
It's
And
like
that's
a,
the
it's like a
thing.
little rock.
They measure them like 0.7 point, whatever it is. And I guess this one was half the size of the one before, where they had to break it up,
Oh
and it was
boy.
like a 0.8. something like that. I don't know what all that means, but
I would rather have.
Imagine going through something like that. 'Cause I've seen a friend of mine go through that, and
it's giving birth for a man is exactly what it is.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine how bad that's got to feel.
See,
It's giving birth. It really is because it
It's painful
everything
inside
in
your
his brain.
guts.
see, and that's, I know again I'm the youngest one here, but that's what I'm always concerned about as I get older about getting kidney stones.
water. Do not drink a bunch of soda.
You know what? That's why I don't know if you guys have seen. I've been drinking water this entire time.
Water is amazing.
I've tried that. I've tried all kind of different
See what you have to look for.
not getting it, and I kept getting them. And I think it's just like anything else that some people get cancer, some people don't. Some people get
Right,
cancer, some
and
people
this
don't.
is because of pain pills.
Oh, that's
And
right.
soda?
They can happen.
And
That's
some people,
right.
of course, are more susceptible than others to them. But they say pineapple juice will help break them up before they get to that point.
Oh, I'll tell you a funny story.
Excuse
Me
me.
and my wife hadn't been dating very long, and I was down. They lived down in Florence, and I was down there right around Christmas time because I remember I was getting up to put something together for one of the kids. I guess it was maybe in our first Christmas together, and I started hurting. I was down there for I took a day off, and I think I was down there for 3 or 4 days. Well, I get down there, and sure enough, I start getting a kidney stone. I was like, oh my God. So I'm in pain. And I get up at of course it hadn't been around my in-laws, that much. We wasn't married then, but we were at their house. And it was like 10 o'clock. I'm setting stuff up, trying to put the thing together, and it's like, oh my God, it's like, you want a beer? It's like, and it's 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll take one. And I'm sitting there drinking a beer at 10 in the morning. And of course, not my father-in-law comes in, is like, beer already? I was like, yeah, this is a real good expression, drinking a beer. He's an alcoholic. But anyway, I got a kidney stone. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, I said, I got to go lay down. So I go lay down, and she's fixing to go to the store. So I start researching, and I've had them, many times before, but this is bad. And like, I'm down here away from everything, at home. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, all right, apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, and something else. And it was
Apparently,
like,
orange juice and other citric-based.
I
juice.
said, get this stuff.
Kitty was a nurse.
I said, get this while you're gone. I said, get this while you go to the store.
Uh-huh.
So she mixes it all up, and she brings it into me. I'm laying down in pain. She's like, and I said, I get it. And I went, oh my gosh. I said, don't smell it. Just drink it. So I took a big swig of it, and I was like, oh, it was so nasty. And she leaves out. And she's like, well, if you need anything else, let me know. And it was like maybe 20 seconds. And she goes, if you need anything, let me know. I'm like,
Yep.
Garbage. I mean, that apple cider vinegar and lemon juice didn't stay down but a quick second before it came right back up. I was like, well, that ain't going to work. But eventually I passed it, and it's, I haven't had one in a while.
Those are no joke. I've never had him personally, but he has a high pain tolerance, and I know that's got to be terrible. I've never had him personally.
I'll tell you what's worse than that, and that's shingles.
Shingles, I've heard of.
I'll take a kidney stone any day of the week compared to shingles. I had it when we went to Tyler, Texas. We went to a Paracon out there with me, Becca, and Eileen, and I started getting this rash on my face.
Yeah, it starts off as a rash.
And by the weekend was over, man, I woke up that next morning after the hunt and everything. I was putting Orgel. We went to after the hunt. I said, stop by CVS. It's like 1 a.m. I said, stop. I got to get something to numb this, whatever it is, because it was I was in major pain. And I started during the hunt. No, it was before I went to the hunt. During the hunt, I'm sitting there putting Orgel on my face, and because it was inside my mouth too.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there just trying to kill kill the pain. And it's like we finally got done with that. We went home, and that next morning I woke up in the hotel, and I just looked down. I could see my bottom lip way up here. It's like, oh my dear Jesus.
Oh my God.
So we got. Eileen gave me something that she had for pain. I passed out in the back seat, and next thing I know, we're in Greenville. Greenville. No, we're in Greenville, I think. Or Vicksburg. We're in Vicksburg. That's what it is. And I was like, yeah, it was driving 100 miles an hour from Tyler to get back to Mississippi. And they wound up giving me because at this point in time, we thought it was poison oak, poison ivy. Because we did some stuff with the fire department, repelling and all that, and I thought I got some off the bridge. And so they gave me a steroid shot, which made it worse. So long story short, it wasn't getting better. I went back out to the ER out here. They gave me another steroid shot, which made it worse. And by this time, nothing that we've done has helped. It's gotten worse. And my whole face is swollen and just gross looking. And my father-in-law came in on a Wednesday. This was Friday. We come back on a Sunday. This was Wednesday. And they take me down to Jackson. Lady comes in. It's like, I told her, it's like what they did. It's like she looks at me for a minute, goes back out. It's like, I don't think you've got poison oak. I think this is shingles. I was like, because when I went to the hospital here, the second time, I was like, you've got to put me in. I said, give me something for pain, because I was in immense pain. I said, no, we can't do that. I was like, oh my God. So that was one of the things I said, so we're going to give you some fluids and give you some strong antibiotic to kill, kill this. Get you, like, you're going to put me in? Oh yeah, you got to stay. So I stayed in the hospital for 5 days. Down in Jackson with that, and I still got a little bit of scarring. It's gotten a lot better over the past 3 or 4 years, but I still got numbness all right here because it basically attacks your nerves. And there's a line of nerves that's all connected, like up here. It comes by your eye, comes down in here, and it goes into your mouth. And it was that tract there that it affected. It got right on the corner of my eye. Luckily, it didn't go into my eye. But man, it was freaking horrible.
I heard shingles is no joke whatsoever.
And they've got a Shinrex shot that's supposed to keep you from getting them, but one of the side effects is getting the shingles, and I'm scared to go get it in case I'm one of those ones that you get it again. That's not something I'm going to go back through.
See, I originally thought about getting like the vaccine that they had, but my parents have told me when it's by my age, they're still telling me wait till I'm older because I'm still too young apparently to get the shot. So, or any type of treatment for shingles. Because
how old are you?
I'm 30.
I was. Usually, it doesn't happen till you're after 50.
Okay,
and I was like 40.
Yeah, I'm only 30. I'm only 30 years old, so I guess I still got some time before I need to get anything to deal with shingles.
Yeah, I would definitely get the Shinrex before, because I've did some research. There's 2 of them, and Shinrex seems to be the better one of the 2 to get. I'll probably bite the bullet one day and go ahead and get it just in case.
Yeah, I know Zach got it last year, which he's never had the shingles, but I've taken care of people with them, and they were older, and trying to get them dressed, it hurt them so bad to even try to get dressed. And
it just touching your skin, it hurts.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's like
imagine.
Like a burning feeling. I've been told. I mean, hearing about it.
Yeah.
It runs along your nerve line. It hits your nerves. Did you have chicken pox, Nick?
Yeah, I did when I was younger,
Okay.
and I've seen the commercials about how they say that if you do get shingles, like eventually, that means that the chicken pox virus is already inside of me. So
right,
yeah,
if you had chicken pox, you can get shingles.
Yeah, I've
never had chicken pox. I'm completely immune to them.
Yeah, the time that I had, I think I was like 4 or 5, so about 25 years ago.
Yeah. My kids got them. One was 5 years old when she got it. The other one was 2 months old.
Oh wow.
And so she grabbed her pacifier and gave it to her. The 5-year-old gave it to the other little girl. And so she got it in her mouth at 2 months old and down her throat and all kinds of stuff. And I took her to the doctor. I'm like, this isn't supposed to happen at this age. And he said, have you ever had them? I said, no. He said, she doesn't have your immunity. That's why. So, and I took care of all my kids with them. I'm immune to them.
Jeremy, who's this Facebook user?
Is Robert Hensley.
Oh, hello,
Hey,
Robert.
Robert.
Oh, check this out. What Chris said. Got bit by a spider inside his mouth. The entire side of his face was the size of a softball. Oh my God.
I mean, I know we all eat spiders, but damn, Chris, you took that to a new level.
Gee.
I cannot even. You know what? I'm gonna go back to the drawing board later tonight. I got a story idea now.
I mean, they say we all eat spiders during our life when we sleep, but you took that to a new level.
Hey Nick, you can have it where it like has an egg sac inside the mouth.
Yeah, like modernized, like the classic red spot
And just,
story.
like, starts coming out.
Okay,
Being, like,
thanks
on
for
the
the
face.
nightmares. We are done with that shit.
That reminds me of a scene from The Mist.
Yeah, I remember that
Jeremy,
movie.
no, stop.
I know exactly what you mean by that. I know I've seen that movie. I'm surprised
You
Don
felt
hasn't.
it bite. Did you know it was in your mouth? Chris, what the fuck?
He just said he woke up, so he must have been asleep when it happened.
God,
Oh,
oh,
no.
that is just-
no.
He was stung on the inside. Denny too? What the hell?
stung by what? A spider?
Or a bee or a wasp or a hornet or
What the hell's wrong with you all?
I remember as a kid.
Closed.
Okay, I've bitten the inside of my mouth a few times, but I ain't about to let anything else get inside my mouth to bite me.
yeah, me too. I've done it was a bee. How'd the bee get in your mouth, Denny?
I can
Drink
tell
and
you
drink.
that.
Canned
I
drink.
was outside the other day, put my drink down, walked off. Wasps are coming out of it.
Oh God.
Needless to say, I didn't drink the rest of that drink. But if I hadn't have seen that,
Doctor found the bite marks inside.
Ugh.
Oh, what's this? Jill, who's watched newest season of AHS American Horror Story, which I need to get caught up to. I hate the beginning after commercials with the spider nest and tons of spiders crawl out. So they're covering spiders now on that
okay,
show.
we are done with that scenario, guys.
So let me get this straight. You guys always joke around with the cockroaches with me, but it's bad if we bring up spiders.
Hey, Nick,
Hey, Nick.
you talking about cockroaches?
What? Wait, you guys were talking at the same time. What?
Good.
You go ahead, Donald. You go first.
You talking about the cockroaches thing? You remember the original Creep Show?
Yes, I do. They're creeping up on you. I know
Yeah.
that, and yes, I know the roaches were real in that movie.
That
I
was-
know. And what were you going to say, Adrian?
Roaches crawling up your nose while you sleep. Think about
hell
that
no.
one.
Hell no.
That's why I put something over it so it doesn't happen.
There's nothing they can't get into. They will be the last living creatures on this earth.
Yeah, they will.
That is true.
I have actually never seen an episode of American Horror Story.
Me either.
I
That's a
feel
good show.
bad.
I'm surprised
I
you
know,
guys
I
haven't.
feel bad about it because I have been wanting to watch it, and I've also been wanting to watch an old show called American Gothic that I still haven't
That's
been
a
able
good
to
show.
get my hands on.
Well, put it this way. If you look at American Horror Story, don't forget, it's an anthology series. Each story is different, although sometimes the connections do intertwine and connect with each other. But you don't have to start from season one because each story is different. So you could start really whichever season because it's
Which
all
one?
different.
What show is that?
American Horror Story.
Yeah, you can watch each season differently.
Yeah, so you don't have to watch. You don't have to like binge watch the entire show. You just watch
There's
season
a-
by season. And
There's
yes,
another
Speaking of shows, Donald and I have been trying to figure out bringing in our own show back that we haven't done for the last 5 months.
Mark's on wrestling.
Yeah, I haven't done
That's
Shadow
like
Talk in a
it's
while.
Oh.
either.
Bring that show back in.
I just want to put this up. What Jill just said, since Nicole's here. So Jill's actually saying she's loving the newest season. It's culty and witchy. That sounds like a season just for the Wicked Wiccan sisters, of course. That sounds just like a season for Nicole right here.
There's a series on Netflix that I got into, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. And it's a series, but each episode is its own story.
Is it I know
Well,
when you
like,
brought up like about
Creep
Creep I was gonna say when you brought up Creep Show, are you talking about the TV series of Creep Show?
No, it's something different. It's kind of utopia type.
Utopia.
I don't do Netflix, so I don't know.
It's pretty good. I know
Is
how
it
to
brand new? Is it brand new? Did it come out earlier this year or?
Hold on, I know how to find out what the name of it is.
And Nicole just said, yeah, I know Coven. Everybody loved Coven. That was one of the best ones. But see, my favorite of AHS actually was Freak Show. Oh, Chris, the one with the Crypt Keeper, that was Tales from the Crypts.
Well, I'm pulling up something.
Digging the hotel season. It's filmed at the Cecil had Lady Gaga as a vampire. Like a lot. I do remember Hotel.
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror, that's the one. Asylum, I remember that one, Nicole.
Yeah,
That
Black
was
Mirror is
season
pretty
2.
good.
The Hitchhiker for Spence.
Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Well, and also speaking of shows too, and I'm actually hoping to make this accomplishment this weekend. My series, which I'm going to be kind of paying homage to with such shows, Scary Stories Presented in the Dark, we're actually going to try to film my show host segments, hopefully this weekend, as my character, the Scary Stories host, to present these stories. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping we're able to do that. Of course, again, with things that have been lately with the series, I got to push it back a little bit later than expected. But I'm still planning on airing it real soon. Scary Stories Presented in the Dark.
You gonna put makeup on, costume?
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen it, Donald. It's where I wear that big black and red cloak. I put some makeup on. I just try to make it real simple, and I base my character off like the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt or the Creep from the Creep Show. It's more based on kind of more of the Creep from Creep Show because he presents the stories with those comic books, and I'm kind of doing something similar like that with the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books, as well as the tribute books that have been made over the last number of years. So I'm looking forward to that.
I guess it would work better than you trying to dress up like Elvira.
You know, I've actually met Elvira many years ago.
Have you?
You know, I gotta say, when I saw her, I saw her, well, this was back in 2008, so like 15 years ago. But when I saw her, according to what my dad said, she still looks the same after all these years. Like, my dad even at one point was like, she must be an actual vampire.
She's like Dick Clark.
Yeah, she really is. Because the Nosferatu in his cape. Blunt Man last year. Oh, Joe knows who Elvira is. Yeah, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Yeah, I'm posting my.
Your Face of Horror.
Yeah, it's over in 40 minutes. I'm still in fourth place though. Okay.
We
Oh,
we were watching a few. Of course, it's horror. You know, it's Halloween, so there's a lot of horror movies on the streaming stream services and come across trying to find something. We watched a couple of Exorcist.
Of course, it's hard. It's Halloween, so there's
Just heard an echo.
That's yeah. Don't worry about that one. That's
See,
me.
most recently my dad was watching this, and I told Jeremy about this. But a few nights ago, Sven was on, and I think he was doing like a double feature. I forget. They showed Jeremy's favorite movie first. They showed Killer Clowns from Outer Space, of course. And then the other movie that they showed was an older one from the 50s. I know if they consider it kind of like a bad film, but it was still kind of a cult classic in its own right. The other one was from the 50s, and that was The Crawling Eye. So I've seen that one before, too.
And 2 nights ago, I even shot Nick with my cotton candy gun.
That's right.
You gun?
For Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I've never seen that. They've got on Peacock. They have the nostalgia horror movies.
Yeah.
They got the old Wolfman and all those.
Well, that's what Svengoolie shows. He shows a lot of the older horror films. When he started like almost 30 years ago, he often started with like a lot of the lesser known like violent films. But for the last 15 years or so, he shows a lot of like the classic, like Universal monster movies. Also shows like the Hammer films, a lot of the other old films, like not just black and white ones. Like I said, he showed Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That's from the 80s. So he shows a lot of the classic ones.
Watch that now.
There you go. As I don't know, I think the Faces of Horror thing is a lot, but made me feel hella good about myself because out of 99 people or more, I was captivating enough to make it 11th on the 10th cut.
Yeah.
And I also got this.
Oh my god! Oh, it's the baby clowns.
Yeah.
Popcorn.
Those are babies.
Yes, they are.
It's amazing detail, and the teeth are sharp.
Oh, better keep it away from. One other movie I just saw that dealt with a doll, believe it or not, because it's funny enough. When I was at the Midwest Spirit Fest a few days ago, the restaurant that we were at, or bar, which also I found out is extremely haunted. They had like this wide room, like out in the back of the building, and they had like a big movie screen play. Unfortunately, they didn't have any sound, but they were showing the film Trilogy of Terror on the screen. You guys remember that one?
No.
Trilogy of Terror, yeah.
I don't.
That one's from the mid 70s, and that was actually one of the first movies to be like an anthology film. Prior to Creep Show, Tales from the Crypt, with the exception of Twilight Zone, of course. And what's funny about that each story stars Karen Black as a different character. And the funniest thing is, and everybody will tell you this, nobody ever remembers the first 2 stories. Nobody. If you talk or know anyone who's seen Trilogy of Terror, they'll always tell you about that third and final story involving what's known as the Zuni doll. It's a killer doll. And you got to, I'm not suggesting just skip to the third one. You really have to get through all 3 stories in order to, to get the understanding of it. But third story's the best.
Chill. Yeah, we're just gonna go with I wasn't born at that time, so let's.
what was
That's
it?
what I can say. I was not born at that time. It's one of the very few I can say that with.
I was gonna say, what was it? 75 it came out, I think.
That's right. I was not born
That
then.
is 75.
Yeah,
And there's a sequel to it, too.
yeah, there is. They made one too in the mid 90s, like 20 years later, and the Zuni dolls in that movie too.
So the segment that you're talking about is Amelia. In
Yes,
fact,
it is.
all 3 segments are named after females.
Yeah, and they're all played by Karen Black.
Why wouldn't they be? We're
Well,
dangerous.
and the director who made that film, a year later in 1976, he went to make another film also with Karen Black, along with Oliver Reed. I can't remember the other names of actors. He also did Burnt Offerings.
Nick, I know you like some of the weird horror movies. Have you seen The Cult of Humpty Dumpty?
No, I haven't even heard of that one.
I got a movie called The Curse of Humpty Dumpty.
Oh,
You got
so
The
we'll
Cult
have
of
to say
Humpty Dumpty. Of course, you got the Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. Oh my God. I cannot even tell you how long we had a conversation about that. Me and Jeremy and Greg months ago.
What's that?
Weed Wolf.
Huh?
No.
Not everybody's from Colorado, Chris.
Donald, what? Please explain.
The
Us
Cult of
ladies.
I haven't watched it yet. It's like I got mixed.
I
Oh, you got-
werewolf.
Then you got Mother Krampus.
Mother Krampus. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that one.
I
Tooth
werewolf.
Fairy.
Well,
Mother Krampus is one of the independent B films that somebody made for the Krampus movies.
You got Tooth Fairy.
I've heard of Tooth Fairy.
I think he's talking about the horror version of Tooth
Oh,
Fairy.
that's what I was thinking.
Actually, as far as Tooth Fairy goes, that's where one of my favorite movies, Darkness Falls, comes in.
Oh, Darkness Falls. I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's a really, I really enjoy that one.
Yes, Nicole, I agree. The Sweet Dreams Hotel is cool, but it's also so creeptastic. That's where we stayed during SilCon. What do we have here? Easter Bunny Massacre?
I
What?
have that movie.
How bad is it?
It's not terrible, but it's not great.
Wow.
That's the one I told you guys about, and neither one of you guys want to watch it.
all right.
I
So,
told-
speaking
I
of
told-
high werewolves, guys, it is late. So, this werewolf needs to take her gummy and go to bed.
The High Werewolf.
Yeah, so yeah, disclaimer, it is legal in Colorado. Let's put that out there right now.
I just need to see all these just so we can. Can you imagine? Okay, I'm just gonna say this. Can you imagine if we did like a special episode where it's just like all of us watching a film at the same time, like simultaneously? Yes, we can't show the movie, but you could at least like show our reactions to it. Like, what the?
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, you remember the
We would have to do major coordination to do that to make sure that everybody is perfectly in sync.
Yeah, you would have to do like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Well, why couldn't we have us on the side and the movie playing so that the audience can also join in with their reactions?
Because then that would be a huge copyright hit
It
on.
would be. That's what I'm saying. Like, just have our reactions, just not show the film.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Where Adrian?
Let me ask you this, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Could you play it?
Colorado.
Could you play it on here but not share it on the stream?
You might be able to. You just may not be able to do it like live.
I don't think so.
Shit.
Tell our
There's
kids.
got to be a way. We got to research that because there's got to be a way.
Unless, well, I don't know if it'd be possible if everybody would be able to have 2 StreamYards open, where I could use StreamYard on a separate screen and we all watch it there while we are live
On the other.
on the
Yeah.
But
We
I
might
don't
be
know.
able to do that because we have quite a few places we can stream.
It'd be like
Discord.
Mystery Science Theater 2000.
Yeah, Chris knows all about Discord, and shit. What's the other one, Chris?
There's Discord, Zoom.
I would have said Skype,
Yeah.
but I know that doesn't
No,
apply.
not yeah. Well, it's a possibility.
Twitch.
Twitch. There we go.
See, you know, all this talk about films, and this is actually something I'm hoping to include when I do the Scary Stories Presented in the Dark series, is that there actually might be a possibility I might be able to even show a film, but I'm actually currently trying to get permission from the director as well as also the company that made it. There's even a documentary about the Scary Stories books, and the director knows I've been such a big supporter of it. And as of right now, I haven't been able to talk to him yet, but I'm actually trying to pretty much partially get the rights to broadcast this film. So there is likely a chance we might have a film broadcasting, but I can't make any promises on that.
Well,
The-
that's
the
one of those
only-
things.
The only issue that I see with us doing a reaction thing to a movie is I almost don't react to anything anymore.
That
you,
is
you
true.
Saw, you saw those jump scares that we got when we were on Dennis's show. I didn't react to the one.
Well, the
Yeah,
rest
I
of
was
us
jumping. I was
You got
jumping the
it.
hell out of that several
Yeah, you
times.
were. You were doing enough jumping for the both of us.
I was jumping even though I knew it was coming.
Same
Yeah.
thing with me.
And I just sat there.
I was waiting for that next jump scare. Unfortunately, Chris, on the other hand, had other plans. Instead of playing that same audio
Well-
scream, he played something else for me. That's why I didn't
How
expect
not
it.
even given you were waiting on that sudden noise.
Well,
I don't buy
disclaimer.
that, Nicholas. I am not buying that you were waiting on a specific one and he got no. I am not buying that. It is that sudden noise that keeps making you jump. I'm not buying that. Well, I was waiting on this one. I wasn't expecting. Nope.
Yeah, so we have to have a disclaimer here. I'm scared of balloons because they
Balloon-
pop when you don't know about it.
Balloons.
I'm scared of toasters. I will not stand there because I don't know when they're going to pop. Jack in the Boxes, you may as well forget it. I want nothing to do with those damn things.
Wait, what about the restaurant Jack in the Box?
None of them. I want nothing that's going to pop out when I don't know about it.
So I guess you've never seen Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah, I was about to ask that question.
Nope,
So,
I don't do any
now
of this.
everybody knows for Christmas, get Adrian a toaster.
Or a copy
I
of
dare
or
you.
copy of Brave Little Toaster.
Well, the toaster's fine because unless I put something in it and push it down, it ain't going to go off.
I am a
Yeah.
ghost hunter, but no balloons or toasters allowed.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's called childhood trauma.
Well, you know, I actually remember I was actually thinking that what you were going to say next, like what else you were scared of, and I actually remember this from an episode of American Dad. Is that Stan? He was terrified of fountains.
No, it's well. My recurring dream as a child was falling from a 6th floor. Like,
Toaster.
well, it was a mall,
landing in
but
balloons.
it had the fountain at the bottom. But I was 5 years old, so yeah, whatever. But anything that pops, hell no. Nope, I'm out. Except guns, because I'm pulling the trigger. I know when it's going off.
What happens if you have to shoot a balloon?
I can shoot just fine, and I know it's about to pop because I'm going to hit that target.
I think it's that sudden thing. For me, what makes me jump is the loudness. So people think, oh, I got just kicked. The hell you scared me. That hurt my ears. That's what makes me jump is that it hurts my ears.
That's Zach. He says, you know, he can't go into a movie theater anymore because it's so loud because he's only got the one ear.
Jill's
So it's
asking,
so loud.
See, I had the
are you okay with
Yeah, I'm
fireworks?
good with fireworks. Yeah.
I had the opposite problem with theaters because there's a lot of times where the characters they're just whispering and I can't even make out what they're saying.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, boom!
Yep. Yep.
Come on.
Yep.
Adrian, did you get that link that I sent you for Monster
Yes.
Quest? Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Check it out and you tell me what you think after when you
I
watch it when
will.
you have a chance.
So So Donald, when we coming back with Marks on Wrestling?
You put him on the spot there.
That's my job as a host.
We could
That's-
do. We might be able to do Sunday.
Okay.
I'm off Sunday.
Oh, come on, Joe. Really? Oh, I'll make sure I can take you to a scary movie. You're a co-host on Fear Fans, for God's sakes.
Scary movies. I've not seen one that actually scares me. Now, the most intriguing movie I've ever seen is The Sixth Sense because I did not
Yes.
expect the ending, and I won't watch it again because now I know. But I love that movie.
We've had this discussion before. It's like I grew up really young age watching horror movies, and so they don't affect me. You know, I'm not
Yeah.
scared of the movie. You know, it's like, you know, I've never. They asked me, you know, what's the scariest movie you've ever seen? It's like
I
don't
didn't
have
start
one.
watching scary movies until I was 20, and it took me a minute to get used to some of these scary movies because I was so scared from the Nightmare on Elm Street when they showed it on TV, on cable TV. I think I was 9, and that one spot where the girl that was in the body bag in the school hallway,
Yes, one.
and then a minute later she's laying on the floor and her legs get lifted up and she gets dragged off camera. That scene right there scared me so much that I did not watch horror movies for 10 years.
See, the one I think that really affected me, I think it was actually 2 of them. One was undoubtedly the original Night of the Living Dead, and also the other, I think, which, of course, even though I've seen it before, I think it was just more creepier to see in the theater, was the original Exorcist about 2 weeks ago for the 50th anniversary, and, of course, right before the new one came out. I haven't seen the new one yet, but
I haven't
seeing
either.
but I will tell you this, seeing the original Exorcist for its 50th anniversary and seeing it in the theater, even if you're not scared by it, it's a completely different experience. The sound,
I watched it the other day, and just that part where she's on the bed and her head turns around,
yeah,
even now to me, that's just unsettling.
it's unsettling. But I think what was different when I saw it in the theater, I mean, not necessarily what you see, it's the sound. The sound, I think, was so much different. You literally hear things that you cannot hear on a television monitor. I mean, unless you have like a really good speaker, you're not going to be able to hear certain things like throughout the film. Like, for example, the exorcism scene. It was believed, I think, for many people who watch it on television, that people always say there's no music that ever plays. There actually is, but it's really, really low. That's why you got to be in the theater to actually hear it. So, and when I heard that for the first time, that was the first time where it actually gave me kind of a sense of adrenaline rush. So it was scary seeing it on the big screen.
Chris, do you have a link to that? Send it to me.
What were you going to say, Donald?
He just put a link up of something.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Donald?
Is that the link to the sister house?
I still need to see
back
that
to
one.
Back to scary movies that, you know, I can remember now. I think about it. The first Amityville Horror. I was
Yes.
really young, and I was watching it at a friend's house, and that one kind of freaked me out a little bit when I was younger.
I'm
That was-
glad you brought that one up because the one scene that got me for the longest time when Margaret Kidder she's in the child's room and she's coming to the window, and all of a sudden she's got those golden eyes.
Yeah, Jody.
Yeah, that seeing those golden eyes, and then you see the head turn and going away. Holy shit! I'm getting chills down my back just
Well,
thinking about that now.
And then you later see Jody in full form in the window, except the eyes are a different color. They're now glowing red. And
That's
she's
what I'm
this big
talking
white
about.
creature. Yeah.
The eyes in the
Well-
window.
Well, yeah, there was that was later in the film, which when what's his name? George
No,
Oh my
it
God.
was with Margaret.
No. I know exactly what
Did
scene
you like it?
you're talking about. It's when she looks out the window and sees it,
Yeah.
but then you see them again near the end of the film.
Oh,
Actually seeing Jodie's face with the glowing red eyes. There's two
Oh
scenes.
no,
Yeah,
no.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but the one that got me that I remember the most out of that movie was with the priest going in that room with all the flies,
yeah, the flies.
and then the spirit there telling him to get out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one that got me.
See, I actually managed to have the opportunity. I still have it to this day. The 4 DVD collection of the first 3 films, along with a DVD that had 2 documentaries on it, and that was right around the time when the remake came out, the 2005 remake. And
I still
ironically enough, that was real. And I've said this so many times. That I think really put in the step for me of getting into the paranormal field. So I've always said Amityville has always been my very first case that I've ever studied at a young age. And of course, Jeremy, as you remember when I covered it on Nick Files, that was also like I was like still considered one of the best episodes or trilogy, if you will, because I did like 3 parts of the show.
I thought that was a 4-parter.
I thought there would be a 4th part, but no, it ended up becoming 3 parts. And
What?
what I literally did with that case,
Things ended up being 4 shows long.
I'm gonna have to go back and look. But what I do know is that I told it exactly the way at first. I told about the murders, the first part. Second story was on the Lutzes. And then the third, I was telling it how like the story goes. And then the third, we kind of got to the facts of what really, what was true and what wasn't. I mean, it's a remarkable presentation that I put together. You can see this is from years of work. So it
Maybe
goes
it
back
was
to my early
just
days.
I'm thinking of that you did 4 episodes on, because you covered the book, you covered the movie, the haunting.
Yeah, the real case. I'll have to go back and look. I could have sworn it was just 3 parts.
There was something you did 4 on. I'm pretty sure that. There's another scene in Amityville Horror where, I forget his name. The one that James Rowland was.
James Rowland, that's what I was thinking of.
No,
Yeah.
no, his character name.
George?
Is that okay? Yeah. He is in the living room, I think, and he is screaming out, "I'm falling apart!"
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you could see that the house was driving him mad.
Yeah, that was where you realize, okay, he knows something is affecting him.
Yeah, it's like the evil in the house.
All of us had screamed that out at one point. I'm falling apart.
I'm sure we had, but yeah, in that case though, you could tell the evil in the house was tearing him apart. So it makes total sense. Jeremy, I think part 4. I'm looking it up. I think it wasn't Amityville. I think it was when I was covering Athens, Ohio, because there's a part 4 to this one.
Isn't Athens the one that you did recently?
That I did earlier this year, and also I've been to Athens several years ago.
This was like a year ago.
Okay. Yeah, Athens I did earlier.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Okay.
All right, so Don, you want to try to do Marks on Wrestling on Sunday?
Yeah.
All right, when's a good time for you? Because I'm pretty much open all day.
Daytime would probably be better.
Well, just shoot me a time and I'll make sure.
WWE.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Chris. If you didn't know that, Don and I do a show called Marks on Wrestling. We only got 8 or 9 episodes, and then I had 2 surgeries, and once I was ready, things started happening on Donald's end, including extremely bad Wi-Fi connection.
shit happens very quickly.
Yeah.
I changed from AT&T to Max South.
Oh.
So,
Make sure to send Chris a link for it. Big old wrestling head.
Yeah, Chris is awesome. He really is.
You want to come? You want to come on the show sometime, Chris?
And while we're waiting for that answer, I just want to ask Donald too, like, any chance you'll do your own show again real soon since you got your own too?
Yeah, I would like to get back in there. It's just I got to get with Dr. Jim and get back on there. I know we haven't done one in quite a while.
There you go. You got your answer, Jeremy.
All right, Chris, I will send you a link. Let's not this Sunday. Let's Don and I get reestablished first. Maybe the episode after that, I'll send you a link, Chris. How's that?
There's a lot to talk about.
He's awesome. He is.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
Did you watch NXT?
Just only clips that Twitter had and YouTube.
I watched. There was somebody streaming it on TikTok, so I was able to sit there and watch it on TikTok.
It
Technically,
looks like Chris knows all of them. Yeah, we need to get back
That's
Donald
okay.
back on for sure. At some
We'll
point,
send our son stuff, and y'all can critique that.
and Donald, at some point, we definitely would love to have you back on Fear Fans as well, depending as long as you're available. That is, again, I know you've been busy a lot.
yeah, I'd like to get back into streaming, or get back into the podcast thing. Y'all
Well,
doing one tomorrow night?
They're going to be doing Sleepy Hollow next week.
No,
Yeah.
none of those.
They're going to
Yeah,
be doing Sleepy Hollow next week.
Sleepy Hollow, the one that Tim Burton did, one of his few R-rated films that he did.
The Johnny Depp one.
That's correct.
Oh man, I love that one.
Well, then, if you're in for a special treat, then if you're able to come on.
Chris, I'm familiar with all of them. Oh, SmackDown. Never mind. SmackDown.
The
Impact.
only thing I didn't like about Sleepy Hollow was that the fact somebody was controlling.
Yeah, that was true. That was kind of surprising because I thought, I'm just going to say this now. I honestly thought throughout the entire film that the Headless Horseman was just acting on his own accord, like
Yeah.
not somebody controlling him.
That would be to me, and I understand the storyline, and all that, but to me, him just being this, monster, doing his own
Well, it's-
thing. Just
well, it's
be
kind of
more
ironic.
unsettling.
It's ironic that same year in 1999 they did make a second Sleepy Hollow film, which was simply called The Hollow, which was actually, I think it was a TV made for TV film, and the Headless Horseman in that movie is acts on its own accord, although differently
Oh,
too.
I-
Majority of the film,
That movie.
you have that one.
99.
I think it was somewhere in the late 90s. I know that.
Well, I have a movie called The Hollow, which is Sleepy Hollow, and it's got Nick Carter in it.
Yep, that's the one. That's the
But I
one.
thought that was more like a mid 2000s movie.
That came out. I'm just looking it up right now. It is. It came out. Where is it? I know it's around. Oh wait, you know what? I forgot to add. I should have put Nick Carter in
2004.
it.
It came out.
2000. Okay, 2004. I thought it was late 90s, but no, it was early 2000s.
Oh, and it's also got. It's also got the gal that was on Big Bang Theory.
Yep, they have. I remember that film had a number of
Yeah.
well-known cast members in it. But what's different about the Headless Horseman in that movie is that only for really the introduction, the rest of the movie, Headless Horseman's not really headless anymore because he uses one of those jack-o'-lanterns and wears it as his new head.
Okay.
So he's like more of a monstrous character than the Tim Burton films.
It's a TV movie.
Yep, it was. Try having
Well,
used-
since y'all get wrestling in the storylines and kind of have an understanding of it, so our son was wrestling for a certain team in Japan, and they ended up 3 weeks ago unmasking him, letting him get unmasked. So
Yeah.
he's now getting to wrestle on his own as who he wants to be. Which he used to go by Free Zaxxon, which his dad is Zach. His name is Jeffrey, so he goes by Free Zaxxon.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, I know we haven't seen it yet.
So
I thought that's what he wanted to do, wrestle under the mask.
he wants to wrestle under Free Zaxxon, but they threatened to sue him if he went away from where he was. So now he's back with My Way. That's the name of the I guess people that sponsor him. I don't know a whole lot about all this mess, but he's with My Way again. They were able to unmask him, and he can wrestle as a good guy now instead of a bad guy under the mask. So, that's huge win for him.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
How old is he?
22.
Oh, so he's still quite a youngster for this.
He's a baby, but he's been doing this since he graduated high school. So this is huge for him. And he
Wow.
understands at 22, you're at the end of your career because he's pretty hurt. He's got blown out knees. He's got, one of the guys from Japan, big old sumo guy. He goes, he video messaged us one day and he says, I get to bleed tonight.
Back
I'm like, what
scratcher.
the fuck? What did
There
you
you go,
just
Melissa.
say? And what he's saying is they're actually, however it's choreographed, he gets to make him bleed.
Yeah.
And so after he hung up, he's like, Dad, there's a razor. And I gave him permission to make me bleed. So that's what's going on. I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah, if you look at some of the older wrestlers like Dusty Rhodes and King Kong Bundy, they're all scarred up here.
Yeah, and his was right here. But what was bad was, I guess
Wow.
a chair hit him the wrong way here about a week ago. And he's got a cut all the way through his chin.
Oh,
The good thing about Japan, medical's pretty much free. So you go get fixed. He's been on therapy, physical therapy. He's been, all of that stuff with his knee, his face, all of it. But he can't show his students because they're not supposed to know he does that.
Right.
Because they're, number one, special needs. And number two, that's his teacher. And so they're not supposed to know any of that. And a couple of students have actually saw him wrestle and with the mask off and we're like, so, it's kind of
hard to hide a scar on the chin unless he goes facial hair.
he did put a Band-Aid on it and under the stitches and over the stitches. And when they asked him what happened, he was like, I hit my face. And
there
he
you
left
go,
it at
Adrian.
that.
What Joe just said. Her dad just told her that no one in Japan pays for medicals. It's government run, so it's free to citizens.
That's right. That's right. And that is, he says it's actually huge because he's been in both places. And he says it's huge because they, here, if you have the money to pay for extreme services or the best services, then that's what you get. And I don't know which one's better. I really don't. But everybody gets the same treatment. If you're a doctor, you get the same treatment as if you're a homeless person. That's just the way it is. And I don't know which one's better as far as economically, but that's the way it is. And I'm thankful that he got treatment when he did.
Jill's thinking about moving to Japan.
I can pretty much give you my opinion on medical treatments here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Jill,
but
please
that
consider that.
will probably get us banned.
Right. Jill,
Yeah, what I've
think
got.
twice, seriously, because I'm going to tell you right now, I have tried to call my son. If they're on a bus, if they're in public, they're not allowed to speak on the phone because it's respect for someone else. They do not speak on the phone anywhere. On a bus ride, it's complete silence.
Wow.
They don't speak. Their respect for other people goes beyond what we know. It is completely beyond what we know.
That's definitely something that they have. They have always, from what I've seen, they have always done what they can to take care of their elders.
They do.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they do.
I wish I could.
Here, a lot of
Yep.
people, they just don't give a shit
Yep.
about
Exactly. I was just about to say, I wish I could say the same for here, but it's not.
I'm going to tell you, I believe, this is my own opinion, but that's all it is. The opinions are like buttholes. We've all got one. but I believe it's because of Social Security. Because we
Yeah.
expect Social Security to take care of our elderly, and we just move on with our lives like nothing ever happened. That they're taken care of. Move on.
Speaking of Social Security, they just announced earlier today that they were raising Social Security payments $50 a month.
They're full of shit. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They're full of shit.
Why am I
Because-
not surprised?
My in-laws, they get Social Security. They get nothing more. They've been told this for about 8 months now.
It's supposed to be the December 29th payments where they're going to see that $50 thing.
Yeah,
But-
$50. Oh,
Yeah, the problem is every time they raise it to give them more money, everybody else raises their prices.
I know.
yeah. And here's the thing. Okay, so a normal home mortgage, we all know, is close to what? Let's say $1,500. If you have like a 3-story home, it's close to $1,500 if you've overdone it. That's what we walked into. This is a 2-story home with a basement. It's built in the 1930s. Something like that. Anyway, they get less than $1,000 because they're married. They get less than $1,000 each for Social Security and retirement. Now tell me how you're going to pay a mortgage, all the electric bills, the gas bills, and everything else in a home. You're not. That's why we're
Yeah.
here. You're not. It's just not going to happen.
But
And-
so the house isn't paid for?
Well, it has been a couple of times. But, some people decide to remortgage shit because they want, who
Yeah.
knows? So here we are going, the fuck you will do with that again. No, you will not. No, you will not. But
Got-
still,
Grandma got $550 a month.
exactly. And how are you supposed to pay if you're renting? How are you going to pay rent on that?
You
How are
don't?
you going to pay utilities on that? If you pay a mortgage, how are you going to pay?
But here's the thing. If you're on Social Security, you should still be able to get a pension if wherever you work at offers that.
We help you.
I believe that comes into play with the Social Security that they. I don't know exactly how it works.
We help you cleanse it.
Cleanse what? You
I'm
can
not
come help
sh-
cleanse this house any damn time you want to. I guarantee it.
I don't know if she's talking about like cleanse like Social Security. I don't know.
This damn. I think she's seeing
We
what's
need
in
a
this house.
president of Washington.
Yeah. Isn't
I
that the
think
truth?
she's seeing this house, and yes, there's plenty here, but it does take a family still. It does. I don't understand throwing away the people that raised you. I mean, these people did not raise me, obviously. These are my in-laws, but they are my parents now. And if you love, like, a lot of people don't understand this, but if you love the person, you
house.
love their children, and you love their family, it's all the same. You love the person, you love what's attached to them. And, these are my parents now. And as far as I'm concerned, they're my only parents. And I made a promise, and I will take care of them until the day they die. That's the way it is. And Jeremy and Nick have both seen. This is our family. You wouldn't know whose parents they are, the way we treat them. You would have no idea whose parents they are, because they are both of our parents. And when I talk to people, I before they know who we are, I'm like, our parents, and they're like, the fuck, you married to your brother? What the hell's going on here right now? Okay, let's clarify this real quick. But
No, it's my stepbrother.
yeah, my stepbrother, and that's my mama.
I mean, we have limits.
Well, it is true. You're not technically biologically related, so.
God, I hope not.
The term Uncle Daddy comes to mind.
I call him that all the time.
You got a point there.
I don't know. We have his uncle here right now, and I'm telling you,
Oh, was it song? There's a song out that I'm my
This
own
man-
grandpa.
yeah,
You ever
This
heard
man-
that?
What song is it?
weed.
I'm my own grandpa.
I think I've heard of this. I think I've
Kentucky?
heard
Oh,
of it. I
yeah.
don't think I've actually
That's-
heard the song.
That's Kentucky. Yes, yeah, I've
Oh,
seen
it
it.
was in
I
Kentucky.
when I was young, I actually wrote a lyric called "Grandpa, You Were a Father to My Brother," and I was only 13, 14 when I wrote this, and that was because my brother was raised by our grandfather.
Okay.
And looking over, I'm thinking, boy, that
Uncle
title
Daddy.
sure doesn't. Yeah, that title sure doesn't sound right, but it's because when we moved from Indiana to Florida, my brother stayed behind in Indiana for school, so he moved in with my mom's parents. So basically, Grandpa took on the role of father because his real dad was not in the picture.
Yeah.
Long story short.
That's
No.
a lot of us, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I just got to go to this
Race
title
the
right here.
war
Uncle
has
Daddy.
ended.
I watched a thing on China. I think it was China or Japan. I can't remember which one, and that's awful because they're two completely separate things.
Jill.
But
It did.
oh, Jill, come on. But they had it was a paranormal show actually, but they had the grandmother and the grandfather in coffins laying in their bungalow or whatever the hell it was they call it. And when they invited, I think it was Josh Gates, they invited him in to, witness what was going on. He said, "This is my dad." And he introduced them like they were alive. This is my mother. They introduced her like she was alive and said, "We honor our dead this way." And they had like 4 or 5-year-old little children running around. And he said, "Can you tell me about your grandma and grandpa?" They walked over, took grandma's hand and was talking about her like she's still living.
Wow.
And, if we had half the respect and the love that they have for their elderly, we'd be a lot further than we are now. We just walk away and say, "Screw you, you gave me life, now this is mine," and walk away. And, other countries don't do that. They take care of their people until they're gone.
Right.
I don't get where we got this way, besides maybe Social Security, but
Yeah, I was going to say, because we were talking about Social Security.
I think that did us in. I think that did a lot of people in because we were not made responsible for our parents anymore. And it was kind of a farce because they can't live on it. They just cannot, unless they have a retirement to go with it or something, military, whatever. And Dad, he's military. They still don't get anything. Not much at all. They can't afford this house. That's why we're here.
Oh, man.
And us on our own could not afford this house.
I remember talking to my dad about that very thing because he watches a lot of cowboy shows.
Yeah.
And it made me think, okay, way back then in the 1800s, these people basically worked until they died.
They did. We're
There
back there
was
now.
no retirement back then.
We're back there
you
now.
had
Where's
to.
retirement at this age?
You
67?
You
It's
had
going on
to
every
if you
year.
wanted to eat.
I'm going to say this right now with what Nicole just said. We kind of did this.
Exactly.
We kind of did the same thing actually with my grandfather. Because he lived till the age of 96. And
Awesome.
yeah, he lived a really well. He actually technically died at the age of 95, like 2 days before his actual birthday. But we still consider it as he lived to the age of 96.
Heck yeah.
Close
Plus,
enough.
yeah. Well, plus I'm going to say this: it was sadly, it was 2 days after my birthday. He died shortly after I turned 20. So we kind of celebrated our birthdays together. So in my book, that too. But
Yeah.
anyways, the last couple of years of his life, we never put him in a retirement home. I mean, we did temporarily, but that was because for certain reasons. For the most part, he lived most of his life at the house that he had. They kind of moved around Chicago. Like, it's not like the house that he had lived throughout his entire life. The house that, like, when we used to visit when I was younger, he bought that back in the late 70s, and he lived there throughout the majority of his life. And then he started living with us, though we still owned the house at that time. And then I can't remember what it was. I don't know. It was like some kind of physical therapy he had to go through. He had to stay temporarily up. It was kind of like a retirement home, almost like a physical therapy place too. So he was there for at least a couple weeks, and then eventually we brought him back. So that was really that was as close as we ever got. But he never really spent the rest of his life in a retirement home. He stayed with us. Although right before he passed away, we brought him back to his house originally. So he died in his own house with us by his side, not at a retirement home.
And do you regret one moment of that?
No, I don't, because adding to that, the last couple of days before he did pass away, I was actually among one of those who was taking care of him.
Yeah.
And I was only...
And that's nothing to regret. You
I
made
was
a
only...
promise.
You know, some people basically thought, you know, I was like 9... It's hard to believe now, it's been 10 years. I was like 19 years old, and some people say, you know, a kid at that age should be getting out, hanging out with his friends, you know, doing all this crazy stuff. That, even at 19 years old, that didn't matter to me, because I knew my grandfather was going to be leaving this world soon. I had all the time in the world to hang out with my friends, you know, afterwards. So main important part was this was someone I wanted to be with, and I was not being like some caretaker that was getting paid by the hour. I stayed because I looked, you know, all these years I looked up to my grandpa. I was real close. I loved him to death. I really did. So all that time that I was with them, it was totally worth it. It really was.
Absolutely. And that's it. See, Zach's family, I think you all know, I went to school with his brothers.
97. Wow.
That's awesome. I went to school with his brothers. So I knew everybody already. And we all 2 years ago made a promise. Mom said, please, please, please don't ever put me in a home. Please don't ever do that. And the boys just kind of looked at each other. I was like, I won't. Everybody's like,
well, and the
like,
time
no.
when I was taking care of my grandpa, I mean, we did kind of have a caretaker helping out.
oh, sure.
But as far as anything like that, I mean, for the most part, I was usually, I mean, yes, I had an iPhone, obviously, but most part, I was usually by myself with him.
Yeah,
so I was,
absolutely.
And you have to think too, it's funny, even though we were kind of in a town area, you know, like this was at, I didn't even really get to eat very often. You know, this was at a time before we had Uber Eats and that kind of stuff. So I had to give up even like certain things in my life just to be with him. The only time that I couldn't spend time was obviously when I had to go to work. So this would be kind of normally like a weekend thing that I used to do. And I have no regrets whatsoever. In fact, one final word of note, when he passed away at the funeral, I even spoke about him briefly at the funeral. So.
Exactly, Nicole. I exactly, yes. And you know, that's the thing. The brothers all promised. There's 3 brothers. And us wives are just kind of sitting there because this is the brother's job. This is not ours. That was up to them. That's their mother at that point. That's them. And the wives are just kind of sitting there. I wasn't a wife at the time, but before we got married, I don't know what happened. Something snapped, and she was like, please don't put me in a home. Please don't put me in a home. She realized she was losing certain memories and different things. And I'm like, I won't. It's not going to happen. And Zach said, no, we're not. And, you know, all the brothers made a pact. No, one of us will be taking care of you. We promise. So when we moved in here, there's every once in a while she'll go back to, please don't. Please don't. I said, look, out of this marriage, whatever, I made a promise to you. Doesn't matter if I'm married to your son, if I'm not. I made a promise. You're not going to a nursing home. You will not. And I work at home. So, yeah, I'll be here. I don't care. I can click that button and go see what's wrong. That's not an issue. Zach's right down here. If he hears a banging on the floor, which is a common signal here, you bang on the floor, somebody needs you upstairs. You bang from downstairs, somebody needs you. It's just a common signal. But it's not going to happen. I don't care if she gave birth to me or not. That's my mom. And that's my dad. And that's the way it is. And I think we should all, take care of our elders, whether it's our own or not. Somebody's.
I'm going to show this real quick. I got 2 quick pictures I like to present. These are me and my grandpa. So it shows the true bond that I had. This was.
I've seen pictures of you and your grandpa.
Yeah.
I love this.
If you guys haven't seen these, you guys are going to love this. This was me when I was younger with him back in late.
Get off of here because
Nope, that's
we
not
do.
the one I've seen.
Yeah, this one, that was when I was real young. So
You
this
look
is
like
when-
you're going, no!
yeah, this was like late 90s. So this was basically him taking care of me in a way. And then
Yep.
this one a lot of people know. This was about a month before he passed away. This was when I was taking care of him.
But look at him. He is so happy.
He is. He really is. And my friends
Was
at the
he-
time, they actually came to visit this time. It was one of the few times I actually had friends to actually meet. And even though they didn't know his real name, they called him Grandpa too. But what were you going to say? You were going to ask
Was
what?
when he passed away, by the time he passed away, did he have dementia or anything like that? Or did he know what was going on?
No, he didn't. As a matter of fact, I really don't remember ever having him. He might have had some of it, but he still remembered a lot. See, he obviously remembered me. So I'm very blessed with that.
Yeah.
Well, see, my dad, when we moved to Mississippi in '78, my dad, of course, he was a truck driver. He went and got his dad, and he moved him in with us, and he lived till he was 90 with us. And my mom took care of him, for the most part, and that was her dad, was what she called him. Now, we lived in a trailer back then, and he had passed away in that trailer at home in his bedroom. And of course, he was dealing with dementia and stuff like that.
Right.
And a couple days before, because he was, you could tell he was getting really close and wasn't remembering anything. And then a couple days before he passed, he was up, sitting in his bed. He knew everybody.
Yep. That rebound.
Yep, he's fixing to go.
Yep.
And he did. And but me and him, as when I was a kid, that's how I got into wrestling. Me and him would sit on Saturday afternoons and watch Mid-South. Even if he was taking a nap, say, hey, wrestling's coming on,
Yep.
And but my dad is now we're dealing with my dad. He's 87 and he's
Oh wow.
on a walker and stuff like that. Now he's got the dementia and Alzheimer's, and he can call me and ask me, the same question 4 or 5 times a day. It's like, and I'll, like I've never heard it before.
Right.
But
Right.
by God, he could tell you, because he was a retired truck driver, he could tell you how to get from here to Baltimore and what roads to take and all that stuff. It's like, this is insane.
Yeah, and that's a sad part about dementia or Alzheimer's. I'm not sure which one does this, and I know they interact sometimes both together. I worked a nursing home, and I'll never forget this lady. She was Hispanic, and she couldn't hardly speak any English, but I learned to speak enough Spanish to talk to her. And she always, I know they always go back to their, a certain place in life. She went back to a place where she was raped constantly, and she lived in that place. And what was so sad is, of course, we had to change her. And so every time you go to change her, that's where she went in her mind. And there was nothing we could do to help that. Nothing. But that's what I've
But-
always told the new hires
Just reliving that over and over.
over and over.
Horrible.
And I felt so bad for her. But I've always told the new hires when I was training them with these people, I was like, okay, do you see that chair right there? And they're like, yeah. That chair's not there. Well, yeah, it is. No, it's not. Fuck you. Yes, it is. All right. You see it there. I want you to never tell these people that they don't see what they tell you they see, because they see it just as plain as you see that chair right there.
Right.
Don't you ever do that to them, because they're confused enough. Don't you ever tell them they don't see what they tell you they're seeing. You go with it. And, sometimes it doesn't help, but why argue with them? Why try to bring them to reality that isn't theirs? That
Yeah.
I don't.
My dad will call me, out of the blue. It's like, or he'll say something because I'm, been having to drive up there, and since my mom's been in the hospital, and get groceries and whatever. But he tells me this, hey, somebody called me from Baltimore, want me to come work for them, and like,
What'd you tell him, Daddy?
he's like, really? It's like, yeah. I was like, tell him I ain't been to Baltimore in 40 years, and not about, I guess about 6 months ago, he was telling me about this car. So we need to go up there and get that car. I was like, what? Because we ain't been in Baltimore. We've been away from there since '79. And he's telling me, hey, I left a car up there in the garage. We need to go pick up. I was like,
So, yeah, what do you say? I mean, you can't tell him different.
that car's probably
Oh
gone by
my
now.
God, Nicole.
You don't tell them different, but taking care of our elderly, I don't care if they're ours or not. They are ours, because at some point they had an impact on our life. I don't care if they were our family. They had an impact on our past, our history. I
Yeah,
just don't understand this. Oh, I'm going to live my life. Screw you.
Yeah. It's
I
just
can't get with that.
we've got, being in the fire service, we see a lot of stuff on med calls and stuff like that with, having to go pick people up off the ground, pick them up off the floor, what have you, because they're still living, at their own house alone.
Right.
I'm like, where are their kids?
Nowhere to be found.
I was like, I don't understand this. I mean, they can't function.
No.
This couple can't function on their own anymore.
No.
But they're still trying. And I'm like, where are you? We get out and it's like, where are their kids? They got to have relatives somewhere.
They do. There. And I just cannot get with that, because I was adopted at a very young age, at 3 months old. I was adopted at birth, and then I was adopted out at 3 months old. When you're adopted, there's this sense of you never belong somewhere. So you always try to find somewhere you fit in. That's it. It's whether you're adopted or not, that's the
I
way
don't
it
fit
is.
in anyway.
Yeah. So you're just constantly wanting to fit in somewhere, because you realize you don't fit in anywhere. So it's like, I'm not understanding these people that have biological families and just go, whatever. I just can't get that, because I don't care if they're my biological family or not. They're my family.
It's
And
become
they're
the
friends, they're my
American
family.
way, it seemed like.
Huh?
It's become the American way, basically.
It is, and I hate it. I really do.
We kind of make jokes about it. We got within the next 10 years, there's going to be a big turnover at our fire department, because there's like 6 or 7 of us that are getting close to retirement.
Okay, can you give
Tom.
me the link where this came from?
And,
So we'll fix it.
we got all these younger guys, coming in and, trying to train them up right. And, these people that we're going and picking up, off the floor, it's like, one of these days, one of these young guys are going to come to my house and pick me up off the floor or get me out of the bathroom.
Right.
You know.
Donald, are you working next Thursday?
What date is that?
19th.
19th?
Oh my God, it's already almost the 19th.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I'm off that day.
Okay. Would you like to come back onto this show next week? Because we need to get off here.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah, that's fine. It'll be about the same time. I'll have class until about 8 o'clock.
Okay, that's fine because we can shoot the shit for an hour before you come on here because we need to
Just
get
make
off.
sure you're up to it, Donald. Don't
Yeah.
push yourself.
No, it's kind of like video gaming, you know. It's like my escape from
Okay.
all the normal
Just making sure.
craziness.
Don't feel like you're committed because
and relax.
life is real.
And then the following week we got our annual haunted house that we do for the fire department. This is our 14th year, and so that week I'll be tied up that whole week setting it up. And
Do you dress it up as Ghostbusters Firehouse?
well, we actually don't do it at the firehouse. We do it at a city-owned building
Oh,
that they rent out for parties and stuff. And the building's probably, as a matter of fact, I used to teach karate in there when I first started. It's
I was going to say, I think it'd be pretty cool if you guys were wearing the
probably
Ghostbusters.
20 by 80, I think, room. But we fix it up in there with bisqueen and have about 6-7 rooms in there, and it's pretty wild.
All right, so next week we're gonna try to have Don on with us again.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Friday the 13th,
Oh boy.
I'm gonna have Nick and Don Elmy on 13th Dimension. We're going to talk about Friday the 13th, the movie, the TV series, and the superstitions. So that's going to be a fun show. And then Donald and I are going to try to do March on Wrestling.
There's the
Oh,
eclipse.
Jill.
That's right.
I didn't know about that. Thank you.
I forgot about that. And so we're going to try
kind
to
of
do
red ring or something, isn't it?
Huh?
Isn't there supposed to be some kind of red ring or something?
Yeah, she said the
Red
eclipse.
rain.
I know crystals need charged. That's what I know.
Yeah, I am just outside of what's apparently supposed to be the best line of vision to be able to see it, but I think we'll still be able to see it.
What time is it? Do you know?
I heard it's early afternoon, 12 to 4
Okay.
for the whole
So
thing.
when you're doing superstitions, make sure to talk about what really happens in hospitals and what really happens in nursing homes on a full moon and Friday the 13th.
If we have time, we only got an hour show.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, if we have time. So there's that. We're going to try to do Marks on Wrestling on Sunday. I'll just let Don give me a time that's good for him, and then I'll set it up then. And then we'll just have Don back on next week.
Sounds good.
So yeah, and I'm sure then we'll probably have Eileen on back.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I hope so. She needs to rest. She's been through some shit.
All right, so everybody out there, thank you for playing along, and we will see you next week.
Have a
Good
good night.
night, y'all.
Yeah.
Bye.